Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Duke & Dame is a black-owned caramel-flavored whiskey brand that doesn't compromise where other flavored liquors might. Amani McCauley is co-founder of Duke & Dame, and he talked to Bloomberg about how the drink works great as a mixer, but with the quality that even the most selective whiskey drinker will appreciate.
What I love about Duke & Dame is how versatile it is. It blends well with everything. All your traditional whiskey cocktails, your old-fashions, your whiskey sours.
But if you're clamoring for a high-end flavored tequila or vodka from Duke & Dame, McCauley says his company doesn't plan to rush into anything new.
We don't plan on introducing 20 different flavors. We really want to be thoughtful around, in the same way that the caramel kind of gives you that nostalgic feeling. It takes you back to the Werther's original in your grandma's purse, right? We want to make sure that everything we create kind of gives you that, brings you back to home feeling.
Duke & Dame is available at select stores, bars, and restaurants in Florida, Michigan, and New York. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the hosts and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears. Breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Thursday, December 5th, 2024. You may be alarmed, shocked by the title of the program, but I assure you, if you are able to take this ride with me on today's program, the title is going to make sense. It might look a little vulgar. It might feel a little obscene, but please allow me to explain. Before we get into the details of what I'm calling the pullout method, which some of you are familiar with, not enough of you are, though, apparently. It's a pullout method of a different type. I have heard, so have you, about the craze of investing in cryptocurrencies. It is a new technologically focused way to invest your money in digital assets and digital currencies that's different than the traditional banking system, which we know and we have evidence that traditional banking system, at the very least, has been biased, unfair, structurally inadequate to handle the needs of African Americans who currently have about a $10 trillion wealth gap compared to our more fair-skinned counterparts. So if we know that the banking industry has been unfair to us, and I got an example of that, and if we know that the real estate market, because of redlining, has also been very unfair to us, then why not try something new, something that is digital, something that's not tied to the structural and institutional bias of the past? It makes an awful lot of sense. There have also been individuals, Spike Lee is one of them, I think LeBron James is another, celebrity endorsers of either cryptocurrencies or the businesses that you purchase your cryptocurrencies through. Quite honestly, it's quite popular with African Americans investing in this new form. And when people see Bitcoin rising to the price that it has risen to, that is very, very exciting, because what that is that's proof of concept that this investment can absolutely skyrocket. And so that makes sense on its face, why African Americans who are chasing financial stability and wealth so they can live better lives and start businesses and take care of their families, etc., would want to invest in something that is proven to be potentially lucrative. Part of what I do here is I try and find connections amongst things that have happened in the past that we may not have been paying attention to, and see how those connections apply today. And if there is a path that we went down in history that led us to despair or led us to more hardship, I make that connection of what happened in the past so I can make a correction today, so we do not repeat the mistakes of the past. The problem is either history wasn't taught, or we found it boring, or we couldn't relate to it in any kind of way, especially when you were learning about the past. When you're young, you don't even really have a concept of the past because of your chronological age. But as you get older, you start to see certain themes. Can we agree that there is a theme in America that African Americans have not progressed as they should have, like other groups have, and we've been here the longest, we've built the most, we've sacrificed the most, we've died the most, we've bled the most? Shouldn't we be just a little bit further along? Now, let me be clear. We're not where we were 50 years ago, 60, 70, 100 years ago, but it still seems that these disparities can still be very easily pointed to even a quarter century into the 21st century. So there are themes that are repeating that I don't know if we are learning the lessons from. You also have to think very deeply and critically about this, why they want to remove aspects of Black history from schools, why they want to ban certain books. And what they do is they'll take the thing that is most offensive to everybody, like there'll be books that talk about like LGBTQ, and they'll be age appropriate, right? There might be 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade books that are in school libraries that are age appropriate, that tell young people, like, hey, as you get older, you're going to see different types of marriages and different types of couples. I think to a lot of folks, especially Black folks who are still predominantly Christian and live by pieces of the Bible that we think apply to our lives, that's offensive to us, right? Because Black folks are extremely homophobic. It's part of who we are. I think some of that is changing, but not really fast enough. So if you can say, we're going to take these books out of these libraries because they're indoctrinating your kids to be gay, whenever you have any information about non-traditional families and gay couples and gay marriage, we're going to take those books out of the library. And with African Americans, you get a willing audience that says, yes, absolutely, those books should be taken out of the library. Once you have a willing audience to remove information, then the next information that will be removed will be information about us. You can't just say we're going to take all the black history books out of a school library, black folks would get mad. You know, when we get mad, we block the freeway. We protest. We cause all sorts of mayhem. So you start with the group that is universally hated. I shouldn't say universally hated. That is not accepted by African Americans. And you say, we're going to take away their books and take away things about them. And black folks say, yeah. And now you've already started the trajectory of removing information. We are always next. They talk about the migrants. They don't want the migrants here. The migrants are poisoning the blood of our country. They get rid of them, and then you've started on the trajectory of how you get rid of people, and how you diminish people, and how you decrease their power. There's always another group that will go first. But it's always about diminishing African Americans, which explains in part why we have not progressed the way we should have. When another group, we got to realize this, it is hard because we don't want to see ourselves as a large global family. We don't want to see that, but we are. We're all in this thing together. And so if you create a path or a trajectory of how you can get rid of one group or marginalize one group, then you can do it to another group and another group and another group. And I'm going to do my level best today to illustrate to you that the Trump organization, I'm not even going to call it the Trump administration, it is an organization, is working on us in ways that we do not yet see. I had to dig very deep in American history to try and find this connection so we can make the correction. Ladies and gentlemen, they are up to something. Don't be distracted by the weird people that Donald Trump is picking for his cabinet, because you got to know something. There are people that, when I say have infinite levels of intelligence, that exist on a world of thinking that most of us can't relate to. Last time I built a rocket, I was in 6th grade, and it was a model rocket. That's as far as my rocket building technology goes. Well, Elon Musk, he builds real ones. He's very smart. He's weird. He's quirky. I think he's racist, but he's really, really smart. There's something that Donald Trump is doing in this administration that he did not do in the previous. He's getting the smartest people he can possibly find. I listened to about a 10 or a 15-minute conversation with Vivek Ramaswamy. He was on CNBC. It was a conference, and they broadcasted a part of this conference where Vivek Ramaswamy, who was going to be a part of the new Trump Department of Government Efficiency, which is what do you call it? An acronym for Dogecoin, which is a cryptocurrency. And they talked about how they're going to reduce the amount of money that the federal government spends. And I know that's going to be the death knell for a lot of communities, because a lot of the money that they are going to cut is money that's needed by everyday Americans. But because they're very wealthy and they think about politics and policy and federal funding differently, it's not going to impact them. They're going to be fine no matter what. But the way he was able to explain it actually made sense. And that was what scared me, because these folks are so smart. They're going to convince the American people that they're actually doing something positive and productive, and they're going to screw us over, and they're going to do it in a way that we're not even going to recognize. Because I'm petrified that Donald Trump has got people in his administration that are not only smarter than him, which isn't hard to accomplish, but are way smarter than most of the American people. And I've also come to find out over the last year, a lot of us don't know how government works. We don't. We think that if we ask for a bunch of stuff and you vote for one party or another, you're just going to get it. No, that is not even close. Not even nearly close. Not even close. And so I've made some connections, and I'm going to try and explain to you how the Trump administration is planning something that I think it's dangerous, and cryptocurrency is at the center of it. So I'm going to take a break. I'll come back. I do want to give you this Obama story right quick, and I wonder if Barack Obama has lost credibility because of the chastising style speech that he gave when he saw the number of African-American men that were favoring or trending toward Donald Trump and Barack Obama. You guys remember, because people said they didn't like how Barack Obama was talking to black men, like he was chastising them. And then you know my sentiments on that. I didn't get offended because Barack Obama saw something that he wanted to warn us about. And with me, he doesn't have to sugarcoat his language because, I'm a big boy. But now he is doing this Democracy Forum, and they're going to convene to focus on tools, excuse me, to have more bipartisan dialogue. And I don't know if Barack Obama is the most credible one to do that. I think he might need to take a little bit of a backseat for a little while, let the dust settle, let the Trump organization really take root and start harming people. Then Barack Obama needs to resurface on the scene and say, I told you so. So I'm going to take a break, come back, talk about this Democracy Forum that Barack Obama is leading. Then I'm going to get into how cryptocurrency is a scam, ladies and gentlemen. I know you don't believe it. I know some of y'all are heavily invested in it. You see it as the wave of the future. It's not. They are trying to take our money. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it. So make sure you stay tuned. We're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
We have to make sure that when we talk about making change, when you talk about vote, when you talk about these elections, when you talk about how we're going to get ahead, we definitely got to start paying attention to the local process, because these are the processes that are governing our lives.
Yes.
And they got you looking across the street down
absolutely
at Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. They've got you looking at Project 2025, but you barely got money to stay alive.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, and his name is wonderful.
Adrian Dunn's Wonderful, a soulful celebration, comes to the Bradley Symphony Center for one night only on December 7th. Get your tickets now to experience lots of your favorite seasonal music the gospel way. Emmy Award-nominated composer and conductor Adrian Dunn leads the Adrian Dunn Singers and the Rise Orchestra in a festive mix of soulful arrangements that are sure to fill you with hope and peace. With drums, guitars, tambourines, and plenty of hallelujahs, this festive concert promises to take the entire audience to church and beyond. Adrian Dunn's Wonderful, a soulful celebration, runs December 7th only. For tickets and more information, visit mso.org or call 414-291-7605.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support and making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This world is so dramatic.
The Obama Democracy Forum kicks off today in Chicago. The goal is to bridge the political divide and get people talking about issues together. I'm going to stop right there. It's too soon to do that. Trump hasn't even been sworn in yet. Now, look, I get it. I understand Barack Obama and his acolytes wanting to get out ahead of this, trying to bring folks back together, because I'm sure there's some folks that are now finding out more details about what the Trump organization / administration is going to look like. You even have some labor unions that either endorse Donald Trump or decline to endorse Kamala Harris, now realizing that they are going to be impacted by Donald Trump's tariffs on some of the raw materials like steel that these unions rely on, some of their workforce relies on. So some of them are having a little buyer's remorse. And so, look, I get it. You want to bring some of the people together that may have some buyer's remorse, but it's too soon for all that. And I think that some folks are still reeling off of Barack Obama's previous comments, and I get it. He saw a level of sexism in our politics that he didn't like, and he called it out. And he was very offended by it. But I don't think it help the cause, but him trying to convene these democracy forums, bringing people back together, I don't know if he is the person to do it just yet. The former president, along with actor Ryan Reynolds and country music singer Rena Roberts, that's an interesting group of people, will be speaking at today's forum. Obama Foundation CEO and longtime Barack Obama senior advisor Valerie Jarrett spoke with Scripps News about what to expect from this conference. She says, part of what we're doing today is inviting leaders in the community who can take these tools back to their local communities and help the people on the ground who are feeling helpless in this situation, Valerie Jarrett said. I do think there's a hunger around our country and around the world to focus on what we have in common, to avoid the kind of polarization that we are seeing, to talk to each other in a way that's respectful, to disagree and have hard conversations without letting them break down into acrimony. I don't know how some of y'all's Thanksgivings went with some of your Trump-supporting relatives and the Kamala Harris Democratic relatives, but I don't know if it's time to say, oh, let's just put all of our differences aside. We don't even know the damage that ultimately is going to be done by this incoming administration. So I think it might be a little bit too soon. Because if you're a Trump supporter, you're still riding high. You're still ecstatic that he won the election. You're looking forward to, I don't know, getting back to how things used to be when bacon and eggs were cheap and gas was a nickel a gallon, or whatever your reasons are, or something, inflation and interest rates because Donald Trump, blah, 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 the businessman. While I see what they're doing with these democracy forums, because I discussed something similar because I wanted to put on, we did this back in 2013, these campaign training schools where you bring folks in who are interested in either running for office, managing political campaigns, interested in how policy works, how you go from politics to policy. And it was actually very successful 11 years ago. Now, our politics were very different 11 years ago, but that gave folks like an instruction manual for how to read campaigns, how to understand them, how to potentially run for office yourself, but also how to be a better consumer of political news. But that was a long time ago. And so I consider doing something like that now because I think the best people that could be the best stewards of our tax dollars and of the policies that a lot of us want to see created would never run for office simply because they don't know how. It is a very technical endeavor. And so I saw the benefit of putting one of those together again. It would have been a hell of a lot easier had Kamala Harris won because the money would have been easier to acquire to put on these kinds of seminars. A little more difficult now that Trump is in office, if not impossible, but it's still something of value. And I see these Barack Obama democracy forums as being something along those lines, because if we can't find a way to dialogue with one another, if you decide that you want to run for office in any of these upcoming elections and we don't have the ability to dialogue with one another, if you're a candidate or you're working on behalf of a campaign or a candidate and you're knocking on a door, and let's say you're a Democrat and you knock on someone's door that still has a Donald Trump sign in their yard, you need to know how to engage them on the issues on behalf of either yourself, the candidate, or on behalf of the candidate you might be knocking on doors for. So it's needed. But I think it's too soon, and I think that Barack Obama has just lost a lot of credibility. He hasn't lost it with me, but I think he's lost it with a number of people that probably should be listening to his wise words. Oh, what else we got here? Valerie Jarrett says, we take the long view. We look at this as a way of building confidence in leaders that are moving forward. that will be leaders of tomorrow. They'll be confident because they'll have the necessary tools to avoid the kind of friction and combativeness that we are all seeing all too often. I don't know if we can start bringing people back together to have dialogues until those that voted Republican in those most recent election get harmed. Then they may want to come back and say, hey, maybe we should discuss alternatives to this. But until that happens, and who knows when that's going to happen, there needs to be some demonstrated harm and people to understand the mistakes that they have made in the vote that they cast. Because I assure you, there's going to be folks that are going to realize they made a mistake. Then and only then, because the hard head makes the soft ass, will people be willing to come back and have these discussions. But that's going to be probably a while. So I'm going to hope for the best, I suppose. I know that we have a number of elections that are coming up, and I don't even know if the fatigue has worn off from the previous campaign, but we can't stop. And I'm going to have to reiterate that because I'm hearing some things. I heard Bailey say it this morning. We love Bailey very much. I think Bailey Coleman is the only person on the planet that doesn't have any enemies. We love Bailey so much. But Bailey and joining in the chorus, and Denise Thomas said this a couple of times too, and she reiterated this many times. Black women are tired. They're stepping back. They're done. They're done being the go-to, being the top constituency for the Democrats. Black women are done helping everybody and saving everybody. And I've seen all over the memes on the social media. There's this one where these like 4 black women are sitting on like the edge of a skyscraper, and they're looking out over a city, and the city is just burning, and they're up there on top of the skyscraper drinking their tea, just watching everything burn, and they are not going to help. They're not going to save anybody. That's the wrong way to look at it. Now more than ever, moving into 2025 and beyond, we need everybody. This is not the kind of sport where you can just be a spectator. If black women decide that they're not going to participate anymore, some of them may not vote anymore. Some of them are going to take a reprieve from the process. And I get it. We're tired. But this democracy is relentless. And I assure you this, the people that wants to do harm to our communities, who have been very successful over the past 260 years, they are not going to pull back. They are not going to stop. And so if black women decide that they are tired and they've had enough and they want the world to feel what it's like when they are no longer participating, they need to know that they are going to be harmed too, and they probably are going to be harmed first. Now, I'm not trying to threaten black women because we know that's a zero-sum game. But the people that are the forces that are diametrically opposed to us are not going to step back. They're not going to step away. They're not going to take any time off. We have to get right back into it. And I'm nervous because the state Supreme Court race that is coming up early next year is going to have huge impacts on us. The school board races, where there was an attempted recall earlier this year on school board races. If black women decide that they don't want to vote, volunteer, sign up to be candidates for office, that is going to hurt all of us. And I get it. I understand people being frustrated and being tired. Sometimes I wake up sleepy and I don't want to come to work, but I have to. Sometimes I want to give up. You can't. And this is not me telling black women what to do, but it's me saying that I hear your frustration, but we probably need you more now than ever. Let's talk to Jules. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning. Thank you for taking my call, sir. I was just listening to what you were saying, and you were mentioning how we are speaking of the damage, not knowing the damage is going to be done by this incoming administration, and how people may need to feel it before they, feel motivated to take actions. And I certainly agree with that. But I just wanted to let Truth Nation know. I just read a comment from Rep. Rich McCormick of Georgia a couple days ago on Tuesday, where he said that we're going to have to have some hard decisions. We've got to bring Democrats in to talk election in 2026 might not want to have to face their older white constituency, most of whom they count on for elections. So I imagine that they're going to insist that those they're going to still be on board, but they're going to ask the Trump and those guys to make sure that those cuts are targeted and focused. And I hope that Truth Nation understands where those cuts. We can expect those cuts to be targeted and focused. That's all I wanted to say, sir.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your call.
Thank you.
I don't know if they're that stupid to want to cut Social Security, Medicare. Medicaid, maybe. Medicaid, they can say, okay, states, you handle people that have disabilities where they can't work and they can't afford any kind of other traditional medical insurance. Like that could potentially be a thing. So if you put that financial burden on the states, I could see them trying that. Medicaid will be put on the states. So people that are in deep poverty or have other ailments where they can't work and can't get what would be federally funded health insurance through Medicaid, they put that on the state of Wisconsin. Got to keep in mind, the state of Wisconsin funds just about damn near everything in our state. Our highways, our parks, they provide government assistance and shared revenue to cities. They also fund our schools, right? And so you guys see all these school referenda that are every single ballot, and we're going to see more of them. Don't worry, MPS is going to be asking for more money. My guess is in the next 18 months to 2 years, maybe sooner, but certainly within the next year and a half to 2 years. And so if the Trump organization that takes foot January 20th, 2025 says we're going to cut Medicaid completely and just leave it up to the states, then expect more referenda for schools, because states will run out of money if they also have to provide what would be the federal equivalency of Medicaid. You see what I mean? They're going to push a lot of things onto the states, because what that's going to do is going to free up a lot of the money that the federal government takes in, even though it's for a necessary health benefit for folks that qualify for it. The other thing to worry about when it comes to Social Security and Medicare is, so when you pay your FICA taxes, they are invested in U.S. Treasuries, which are basically U.S. debt, which is a really safe kind of investment. What Republicans and business folks of very high caliber have always wanted to do is they want to take this $1.6 trillion that we have sitting in U.S. Treasuries, which is a good investment so that your Social Security, when it's taken out of your check, will be there when you need it. They want to package it up and sell it as investments on the stock market. Now, here's what could happen. The $1.6 trillion that we have in Social Security money, your money, and Medicare money could double to $3.2 trillion, right? And then we'd still have the $1.6 trillion to make sure that everybody who paid into the system gets their Social Security and gets it on time, maybe even gets a little cost of living adjustment, and you get your Medicare. Or it can go completely bankrupt. That is what they've always wanted to do. They want to be able to package our money, because it's a lot of money. It's a big old golden egg, and they want to be able to package it and sell it as different investments on Wall Street. They did something similar called mortgage-backed securities. You guys remember the home foreclosure crisis? Of course you do. They took your mortgages, because mortgages are the most stable financial instrument in the country, just like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They're stable financial instruments because you go to work. Most of y'all go to work every day. And you get your paychecks every 2 weeks, every week, whatever. And those FICA contributions come out of your check reliably. Long as you were working, you're paying FICA. So that's a reliable amount of money that is coming out of your check. Well, mortgages were also very reliable because most people, every month, you pay your mortgage. So Wall Street was like, look, why don't we package all of Americans' mortgages together, sell them as securities on the stock market, and make a whole bunch of people even more rich. It worked brilliantly for a couple of years, and that's why they were giving mortgages to everybody. Stated income, low credit, you get a mortgage, you get a mortgage, you get a mortgage. And people were, for a period of time, with those adjustable rate mortgages, were paying their mortgages. And then people stopped paying their mortgages. And all of those investments that our mortgages were tied into all collapsed at once. They potentially could do that with our Social Security and our Medicare. I'm going to take a break, come back. Talk about another disparity that I found that impacts black communities that no one discusses. Talk about that next. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts, and if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You'll see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Environmental justice is something that I don't think is discussed enough. African Americans are much more likely to live in areas that have polluted water and polluted air, and areas in which white folks would never build is where a lot of our housing was built. A lot of our housing projects were built in very undesirable lands. We used to call them brownfields, where there used to be like an old polluting manufacturing plant. The plant gets torn down because all the jobs went overseas or to Mexico, and then they'll build housing on that land. Lo and behold, you've got higher rates of asthma for black children, higher rates of all sorts of other ailments, cancer, etc., because of the pollution that is on the land in which a lot of our property was built. That's not a secret. A lot of the money to remedy some of those things comes through the Environmental Protection Agency. The Environmental Protection Agency also addresses natural disasters, and I'm sure you guys know this, in a lot of areas that are vulnerable to natural disasters, the Gulf Coast, the Eastern Seaboard, the Southeast, etc., a lot of African Americans live. So it's a double whammy for us. We live on lands that oftentimes are more polluted and poisonous, and we're also more vulnerable to climate change and hurricanes becoming more frequent and more severe, et cetera, et cetera. So one thing the Biden administration did get right is the billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars it has funneled through the Environmental Protection Agency to help African American communities. And an example could be this. It's a very loose example, but an example nonetheless. Let's say that there is housing in the city of Milwaukee that was built on land that was formerly inhabited by a factory that polluted. Milwaukee County, David Crowley and others would apply for an application to the EPA. Hey, we've got contaminated lands here in Milwaukee. Biden administration says, good enough for us. Here's $3 billion to build, quote, new housing. Well, if you need new housing, well, we also might need to invest some of that in highways and roads and bridges. And oops, we can funnel a little bit off for education, et cetera, et cetera. You see how that works? So if there's a demonstrated issue and a demonstrated problem, we can apply to the federal government through the Environmental Protection Agency, get those dollars, and those dollars come back to the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County. And yes, we have to make good on what the original application was for, but that just gives us extra money that we can use to invest in our people. Trump wants to cut out the Environmental Protection Agency, or if you pay any attention to Project 2025, they want to suggest EPA's general counsel to review the agency's, quote, environmental justice authority under the Civil Rights Act and grant resources to communities affected by pollution on a neutral constitutional principle. Well, when it comes to African Americans being disproportionately impacted, you can't be neutral. So keep that in mind. And here's another one. A report from the Environmental Protection Agency's Office of Atmospheric Programs found communities of color, particularly black communities, are the most vulnerable groups to be located in areas projected to be impacted by climate change. In a recent study, black Americans and other communities that are of color receive less federal funding from the Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, than their white counterparts. So this blows me away. Here's a disparity that I didn't even know existed. When there is a natural disaster in one of the coastal areas in which African Americans live, where natural disasters, hurricanes are more frequent and more severe, we get less FEMA money than white folks. Black Americans and communities of color on average receive less federal funding from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, than their white counterparts, as natural disasters from storms, flooding, and extreme heat are only expected to become more aggressive. Disparities in the relief we receive have the potential for systemic implications. Under FEMA relief, property taxes and appraisals are used to determine relief funding. Nearly a century of financial redlining led to predominantly black neighborhoods going uninsured by the Federal Housing Administration, barring black people from home ownership. The FHA was relatively open about its form of segregation, creating official materials that stated, and I'm quoting from the FHA now, Federal Housing Authority, incompatible racial groups should not be permitted to live in the same communities. And that was language of the federal government. That's just, it's written right there, black and white. In lieu of home ownership and high wages, black Americans were either forced to move to public housing projects or segregated areas with worse land management or worse environmental protections. The history of redlining left many majority black neighborhoods underinvested and underdeveloped, leading to lower property values. Studies have shown positive correlations between higher average insurance rates in urban areas with higher populations of black people, suggesting insurance in black communities is also more expensive. So we're getting less FEMA aid. We live on land that is likely more environmentally contaminated, and they're gouging our pockets because the price of insuring our homes and our property has gone up. And some of you that either have renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance have noticed that your insurance rates have gone up over the years. When disaster strikes, these inequalities are even more disparate. Studies found that counties experiencing a disaster, black residents receive an average of $27,000. Okay. White residents receive an average of $126,000. That's an average. When it comes to insurance payouts, homeowners insurance can be more thorough than renters insurance, and when 56% of African Americans rent their homes compared to only 16% of white people, Black residents often slip through the cracks in coverage. So when we talk about the things that still exist in our community where we are being financially gouged, we are less protected, we get less payouts. This is the kind of stuff that people are talking about when they ask the Democrats to make good on promises. But folks don't even know a lot of this stuff. And the people that are able to best communicate and articulate these kinds of disparities usually don't vote. This one blew me away, though. So when FEMA has been authorized to provide relief to people, so think hurricanes, and tornadoes, and all that other stuff, Black residents receive an average of $27,000. White residents receive literally $99,000 more on average than us. And this includes Black homeowners. So not just renters, homeowners as well. As hurricane season becomes more destructive, each year faces new efforts to reconstruct and build through insurance support. After the devastating impacts of Hurricane Harvey in 2017, Houston residents saw concerning differences in whose FEMA assistance applications were accepted and whose were not. African Americans are much more likely to have their applications for disaster relief rejected. And I keep in mind now, this all comes through the Environmental Protection Agency. So there's built-in disparities in the EPA already in how they administer FEMA aid. One example is white residents that apply for FEMA aid get on average $99,000 more per application than African Americans. And now in Project 2025, which, let's be clear, none of us read, they want to now award this funding based on a neutral constitutional principle. So if you are not seeing the fact that Black homeowners and property owners that have had their properties destroyed by natural disasters are receiving $99,000 less, you can't be neutral. Because being neutral, be like, oh, we'll just keep it how it is. If they are not putting forth deliberate effort to correct and rectify this $99,000 average disparity, then things are obviously going to get worse. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to talk about cryptocurrency and why I think you guys should pull out before it's too late. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's good, y'all? This is 101.7 The Truth's Telly Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. The goal of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is to provide a platform for citizens of Milwaukee and Truth Nation to have their voices heard about concerns that have daily, direct impact. So join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
It's almost that time. The Black and Diverse Gala featuring the pitch finale, Thursday, December 19th, 5 to 9 p.m. at the Deco. The Wisconsin Black Chamber is about to change another life and award the first place winner of the pitch finale with $10,000. Second place, $7,000. Third place, $3,000. There will also be great food, a wine tasting of the wines made by our Black Winemaker Chicago Day Trip participants, entertainment, vendors, networking, and just an all-around great vibe. Join the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce in celebrating another great year at our Black and Diverse Gala featuring the pitch finale. Tickets go on sale November 22nd. Visit twbcc.com to purchase tickets so you don't miss out on what we have going on.
Saving energy and money is easier than you think. Here are 2 simple things you can do to reduce your energy use and lower your energy bill. Use thermal curtains to reduce each room's energy loss by up to 25%, and make sure vents aren't blocked by furniture or rugs to improve airflow and comfort. Simple, smart savings. Get more energy-saving tips at weenergies.com. What's up, Truth Nation? It's your girl, Noni Juice, here for my friends at Steinhafels. And Steinhafels Cyber Week sale is here. Get some of the biggest savings of the season. Save up to $300 on sofas, $450 on dining tables, $600 on recliners, $800 on queen beds, and up to $1,000 on adjustable base sets. Plus, with Steinhafels 60-month financing, your new room just got more affordable. So hurry in before these deals disappear. Steinhafels Cyber Week sale. Shop in-store and at steinhafels.com.
At Cousin Subs, the bigger your smile, the better we feel. That's why our menu features something for everyone, like our Wisconsin cheese curds, golden fries, creamy shakes, and mac and cheese, all paired with your favorite sub or our subs in a bowl. And don't forget our kids' meals, now with a free cookie. Here's to a better day. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I haven't kept it a secret that I don't trust cryptocurrency because it doesn't exist. It's unregulated. It's speculative. Nobody really knows what it is. I can give you the history of Bitcoin, but that doesn't matter. It's an untraceable digital currency that people would use so they can purchase things that are highly illegal, and you can evade the large tentacles in the deep reach of the Patriot Act, which allows the government to monitor financial transactions to see if people are funding terrorism. So if there's a digital, untraceable currency that's going to be used in a lot of cases for nefarious purposes, it is a way in which you can evade capture. At the same time, it is a digital form of currency. So you can convert actual, real American dollars into Bitcoin, into Shiba Inu, into Dogecoin, into Ethereum, into all of these different types of cryptocurrencies, right? But it's speculative. The more people buy it, so the more it's marketed and promoted, the higher the price goes. That's it. So with a company, like an actual stock, an equity, which I would encourage people to invest in, if the company like Amazon does better because you shop on Amazon, you buy things on Amazon, you watch the Amazon Prime TV, and if Amazon has got a business model where they become more profitable because people utilize their services, then the stock is going to go up. The company becomes more valuable because it's more appealing to the consumer. That makes sense. As a company performs better, its stock rises. And as the stock rises, more people, of course, want to invest in the stock, which is good for the company because then the company can say, oh, more people are investing in our company. We can take some of these proceeds from these stocks that people are buying in our company and invest in different things that may also be profitable. There's a period of time where Amazon was only a book reseller. That was all they did. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he started in his little small raggedy office with a whole bunch of used books that he would sell on the internet. This is back in the late 90s. Now Amazon is everything. There was a period of time during the pandemic, probably April, those early days of the pandemic, April, May of 2020, the only vehicles you saw on the road were Amazon delivery vehicles. They have become gigantic, but it makes sense because they offer a service that is easy to use and convenient and sometimes more cost effective than having to go out to a conventional brick and mortar store. That kind of investment makes sense to me. Bitcoin doesn't even really exist. And I'm using Bitcoin as an example because it's the one that's most popular. And I've heard a lot of listeners of this program send me messages and emails and asking me why I don't talk more about Bitcoin. And I find it unusual because I do listen to, I guess, a diversity of talk radio on other communities, quote unquote, talk radio broadcasts. They don't talk about cryptocurrency nearly as much as we do. Now, it also should be stated that African Americans are over-invested in cryptocurrency, and there's some history behind that. And it seems legitimate because we have been screwed over by old school, traditional, institutional banking systems. There was a bank called the Freedmen's Bank that was opened up during Reconstruction shortly after we were freed, and it allowed African Americans to now start investing their money legitimately in these banks. And they said you could start your account back with the Freedmen's Bank with as little as a nickel, and then the average account balance was about $60. Now, this is back in the 1860s, so we actually had a bank. Until the rules were changed, and Congress turned over the Freedmen's Bank, which was all black people's money. So you didn't invest in any other traditional bank because they didn't want your money. We invested all of our money in these Freedmen banks, and there was dozens of them all over the American South. So this is our first entry into banking. Well, Congress decided to change the rules, similar to what the Trump administration would like to do with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So they did this with the Freedmen's Bank. So all black people's money that wasn't under our mattress was in these Freedmen's Bank. And it was a wonderful thing for us because now, for the first time, we actually had a place where we could save money, where we could put money away so we could buy things, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they changed the rules of how the Freedmen Bank operated, and they turned it over to Wall Street speculators. And they took all of black people's money in the Freedmen Bank, all of it, and they invested it in risky land speculation deals and investing in railroads, and all of those investments went belly up in 1873. So whatever wealth black people had prior to 1873 got turned into zero because we invested our money in the Freedmen's Bank. Now, that was in 1873 where we lost all of our money. But since that point, African Americans born after 1873 were probably made aware that the Freedmen's Bank went belly up, and all the black people that put their money in the Freedmen's Bank lost their money. That is why so many of us are still anti-bank right now. That's why you got check cashing places in our neighborhood. It's something like 30 or 35% of African Americans right now in almost 2025 are what we call unbanked. Don't have a savings account, don't have a checking account. Because in the years that followed the belly up of the Freedmen's Bank, we were telling one another, don't put your money in them banks, they'll take all your money. And that has kind of stuck with our culture. And then the stock market crash and the Great Depression of 1929 did not do anything to add to our confidence in banking. This is why cryptocurrency is attractive, because it's free from all of those institutional ways to put your money away. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to dig more into this in hour two. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000 of commercial campaign marketing on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
The Truth app is home for all the Milwaukee Panther content you would want.
He'll dart baseline, and he will tomahawk it home with his right hand.
From conversations on the airwaves.
We're going to defend every board up the floor and every bounce and every pass. And we've got good depth, and you have to have good depth for the way we play.
To game highlights.
At the top, rises for three over Young and buries it.
Find The Roar on the Truth app, Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts to keep up with Panthers hoops. Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Vice President Kamala Harris.
Talk with your listeners to remind them of their power and the importance of voting. And the folks in Milwaukee turned out for me and Joe Biden in 2020. You showed what was possible.
U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you a racist?
Absolutely not.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
Absolutely not. No.
And civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump.
Thank you all for speaking truth to power. That's the most important thing, because right now there are those in our community who would rather we just be quiet.
Right.
We have to disturb the peace now more than ever.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'm not a fan of cryptocurrencies. Some of you are. Good for you, I suppose. But what I am going to do is provide a little detail, a little background, and also try and provide a little more understanding of what I believe is going to happen with cryptocurrencies. Because the Trump administration is deciding to prioritize cryptocurrencies and quote-unquote protecting crypto investors does not make me feel warm and fuzzy. It doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy because of the administration that is suggesting doing it. I also am not crazy about the fact that Elon Musk has a cryptocurrency, and he is also teaming up with Vivek Ramaswamy and creating this new department called the Department of Government Efficiency, which is an acronym for one of the cryptocurrencies that was started by Elon Musk. Just that whole thing sounds shady and sounds kind of fishy. We ought to be clear about this. Donald Trump purchased what was a U.S. post office in very close proximity to the White House. Well, he technically leased it from the American people. He converted it into a hotel. The lease was still intact, but then when Donald Trump became president, the American people were paying the monthly lease of the Trump Hotel. Brilliant business decision, but a way in which he was able to grift the taxpayers of this country. When Donald Trump travels to Bedminster or Mar-a-Lago, he probably will be at Mar-a-Lago this first year of his presidency more than he will actually be in Washington, D.C. He has a security detail. You know, Trump has got Secret Service, and there's also the White House Press Corps, a group of reporters and photographers that follow the president so that we hopefully can get accurate information about what he and the administration are doing. Listen to me when I tell you this now. When Donald Trump is in Mar-a-Lago, all of his Secret Service, all of the press corps, the White House press corps, all of the reporters and the writers and the bloggers and the photographers have to stay at Mar-a-Lago, and they pay the room rate at Mar-a-Lago. So when he is at home, all of the people that follow him, and it's probably hundreds of people, are all paying him. They have to eat. Mar-a-Lago has a restaurant, has a kitchen. Do you think that the Secret Service and the White House Press Corps, when they order their meals at Mar-a-Lago 3 times a day, are getting a discount? Hell no, they're not. Trump is a grifter, but people don't care about that because, oh, what's the big deal? He's a businessman. But part of his business is ripping people off. And that is why his involvement and his doubling down on cryptocurrencies makes me very, let's just say, skeptical. From the Institute for Policy Studies, America's yawning racial wealth divide is no secret. The median wealth of white families is $160,000 compared to just $9,000 for black families. There's been growing interest in finding ways to close this huge divide. Well, that's a good thing. But unfortunately, some ideas simply aren't backed by any evidence. One troubling example is crypto. Luminaries like LeBron James and Spike Lee have promoted crypto as a way for black families to grow their wealth. So you got to keep in mind now, you can pay Spike Lee $5 million to use his name and his recognition, and his movies have become cultural for us. And if he gets behind crypto, and if LeBron James is now teaming up with Crypto.com, and LeBron don't do nothing for free, and Crypto.com is one of these websites in which you can go through and purchase cryptocurrencies. Now, LeBron James is enlisted in providing information and spreading the word about crypto. Remember, crypto is speculative. The more people hear about it, the more they invest in it, the higher the price goes. The price doesn't go up because there's some underlying asset that's performing well. Crypto goes up just when people buy it. And if they keep buying it and they keep buying it, the price goes up. Last time I checked, cryptocurrency was at or just above $100,000, which is pretty substantial compared to where it was. At one point in time, it was a damn dollar. I remember when I first heard about it, I told Jason Fields about it, or maybe Jason Fields told me about it. I think Jason told me about it. He told me crypto was at $9,000, and this was several years ago, and he very much encouraged me to invest in it. I did not. Jason had checked back with me, I don't know, maybe a year later, maybe a little less, and he thought that I had invested in crypto when he first told me about it when it was at $9,000. And I remember him texting me saying, Sherwin, you see what crypto is now? And at that point, it was at like $60,000 or $65,000. And so he assumed that I invested in it when he did, and he reaped gigantic profits from it. But I actually did not invest in it because I didn't believe in it then. I believe in it less now. Black Americans are leading the crypto revolution, the Washington Post says, and more people of color are actually turning to cryptocurrencies. A University of Chicago poll suggests that nearly 44% of the Americans who own crypto are people of color. Those are impressive figures, but they may overstate the case. A Morning Consult poll found that a modest 8% of crypto owners that are actually performing well are black, and even for most of them, the numbers don't seem to add up for real wealth. Collectively, African Americans would need an extra $10 trillion to enjoy a share of America's wealth that's proportional to our population. But according to one survey, the one.com survey, the median crypto investor, African American crypto investor, holds just $191 worth of crypto. That's not going to close a $10 trillion gap anytime soon. Several news stories have profiled an African American crypto millionaire named Terrence Leonard. In 2019, Leonard invested in crypto and saw huge returns, so strong that he cashed out his whole 401k and invested tens of thousands of dollars more in cryptocurrencies. Eventually, he became a millionaire. Leonard's story is meant to convey that anyone can become a crypto millionaire, but upon further exploration, it shows exactly the opposite. So Leonard was a software engineer with an average base salary of $125,000, far higher than the median household income in the United States and dramatically higher than the median household income of African Americans at just $46,000. Yet, even with that extra disposable income, Leonard still needed to cash out his 401k to make any kind of substantial investment. It worked out for him, and that's great. But few financial advisors would endorse cashing out your long-term savings for such a risky investment. In fact, things could have gone much differently for Leonard. He sold much of his crypto to buy a house in 2020. If he'd stayed in until the crypto market crashed, he would have wiped out literally everything. The truth is, crypto was riskier than most traditional investments. As crypto coach Carlos Acevedo advises, never risk money that you are not willing to lose. The African American community has very little of that it can't afford to lose. It's hard enough for families to pay rent, buy groceries, and keep up on bills, and risky investments with scarce resources are a bad bet for us. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Here's what's this one right here? According to a survey by Ariel Investments and Charles Schwab, 11% of black Americans say that cryptocurrency was their first investment. The corresponding number for white folks was just 4%. A 2022 Ariel Schwab Black Investor Survey shows that 25% of Black Americans currently own cryptocurrency, while only 15% of whites do. There's something to be said about that. Here's what I'm going to be honest when I say this. We are not more experienced in investing our money than white folks. We're not. We just aren't. Who has the institutional wealth? Who has the generational wealth? They do. If we are more highly invested in a speculative investment than they are, that should be pretty evident. Black investors' attraction to crypto appears to be linked to our historic exclusion from other avenues of wealth creation. In this context, crypto gets ascribed with leveling virtues and properties of market stability that it never, ever had. According to the survey, Black investors are less likely than white investors to think that cryptocurrency is a risky investment, and Black investors are more likely than white investors to believe investments in crypto are both safe and regulated by the government. It is not. So there's a popular website, because you can't just go to Walmart and buy cryptocurrency. You have to go through these exchanges. One of these exchanges is called Coinbase, and it's very, very popular, Coinbase.com. You can shop a whole bunch of different cryptocurrencies. You can see what their values are. You connect a bank account. You deposit money into Coinbase. They convert it into the cryptocurrencies of your choice. They actually make it very, very easy. Well, Coinbase came out with a statement not that long ago, because people think like, oh, this money is safe if I invest in crypto. So if you have your money in the bank, there's this thing called the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which insures your money. So let's say you have all your life savings in a bank and the markets collapse and there's another home foreclosure crisis and banks go out of business. Your money that you have in a traditional bank is insured up to $250,000 by the FDIC. I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about Associated Bank, and their deposits are insured by the FDIC. Anytime you invest in cryptocurrency through any of these exchanges, your money is not protected. If Coinbase goes out of business, you lose everything. You get no refund. You get no recourse. There is no appeal you can file. To me, that's risky. And they very well could go out of business. The other thing about crypto being speculative, the more people talk about it, the more people hear about it, the more they hear Spike Lee and LeBron James have been paid to also talk about it. And those, I suppose, in some circles are trusted figures in the African-American community. And oh, Spike Lee is endorsing, and LeBron James has this nonprofit organization designed to teach young Black children about crypto. More and more people are going to buy it. Problem is, the overwhelming majority of Bitcoin, as an example, is owned by a very, very, very small number of people. Very small number. Most of the Bitcoins are owned by like 5,000 people. When they decide to sell, everyone loses everything. That's the part that I think that people don't quite grasp. If the majority owners of Bitcoin who are controlling the price, and also they're making so much money or have made so much money just off of hiring people to promote it and bringing in celebrities to promote it, the more people hear about it, the more they buy it, the more you hear about these handful of stories of somebody that got rich. And some of those stories I wouldn't even believe them. Unless I've seen your actual account, you can tell me that you made several $1 million off of crypto. You might have made that money off of selling dope. More people buy it, the more that handful of majority owners get rich. And if they decide they want to cash out and put all their profits into something else like real estate or traditional stocks or treasury bills, every person that has invested in cryptocurrency is going to lose their money. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue our conversation about you need to pull out while you can. This Bitcoin cryptocurrency thing is a scam, and I think it's even more of a scam because now the Trump administration is, quote unquote, supporting it and getting behind it, meaning more and more people are probably going to invest in it because they think that Trump is going to be more supportive of this speculative digital currency. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Horizon League Conference play has arrived. On Thursday night, the Milwaukee Panthers host conference foe, the Cleveland State Vikings.
8 seconds, Fultz. Screen Pipple-White. 5. Corner left. Lovelace with 4. Johnny drives with 2. With 1. Puts up a spinner. And he gets the bounce. Panthers by 1. 5 seconds left in the half.
Scott Warris has the coverage Thursday starting at 6:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock. This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Reproductive justice is a framework, it's a movement, it's a vision for reproductive freedom, it's a right to have a child, it's a right to not have children, and this next part is really as important as the other parts. It's the right to birth and parent our children with dignity, and the right to live and parent our children in safe and healthy environments. So reproductive justice understands the ability of any person to control their destiny is directly related to the conditions of their communities. It looks at the intersections of discrimination in social, political, and economic systems, and it sheds lights on the barriers that these systems produce. And then we, reproductive justice advocates, fight against the barriers that prevent Black people and other people of color from exercising their rights. That's reproductive justice.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you. From start to furnished, UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support and making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
From Vox.com, the idea that cryptocurrency is somehow providing an avenue that's easier than other forms just doesn't pan out. It's not as democratizing and welcoming as suggested, says Algernon Austin, Director of Race and Economic Justice at the Center for Economics and Policy Research, who has spoken out in the past about the risks of cryptocurrencies to Black communities. Y'all, they are pushing this on us so that the handful of people that own the majority of cryptocurrency get rich just on the speculation. And by Donald Trump wanting to add individuals in his cabinet that are also cryptocurrency speculators, it makes it seem like it's actually safer. But when I found out that the numbers of African Americans that own cryptocurrency is more than double the Caucasians that own it, that's telling me everything that I need to know. And I've heard a lot of y'all have called in, you've texted in, oh, Sherwin, cryptocurrency. I've had somebody used to text in all the time telling me every single day to buy Bitcoin. But that's also somebody as a speculator too, right? The more people buy it, the more the value is going to go up. Then when you enlist celebrities like Spike Lee and LeBron James, and I'm sure there's others, and there'll be stories written about a handful of people that bought some Bitcoin and they sold it at the right time and now they're rich. That's very enticing to us because we want to get rich quick. If we didn't want to get rich quick, then for our children's 1st through 18th birthdays, we would buy them stock and Campbell's soup. We don't. We want to get rich fast. The stock market or home equity Surefire way. You will get rich. Even in down market years, that's where you get richer. Warren Buffett will tell you everything you need to know about money. When the market is down, that's when you buy. When people are excited about something, it's Warren Buffett. Now, I'm going to paraphrase him. Richest man on earth. One of them. There's a few of them now. When people are excited, you should panic. When people panic, you should be excited. Let's talk to someone who's panicked and excited. Hello, Bob.
Sherwin, how you doing? Do you know who brought up cryptocurrency in the first place? Do you know? I'm wondering who brought it up. But anything
dark
Trump
online forces, because it's an untraceable form of money where you can go on the internet and buy things that are illegal, but nobody can trace the money to a human being. So it was a way in which criminals could exchange goods and services on the internet.
It lets me know LeBron James and my other man that you mentioned, they're strictly capitalist. Money. It's not just money. You got to have a conscience. I'm not going to invest in nothing that Trump has put his endorsement on, and and I'm not ready to be kumbaya with the Republicans that people voted for Republicans. I'm not ready to be. I'm not quite. And like I called you before, the governor of California and Shapiro, that Harry should have gave them the money, and I don't care about breaking the law. Trump breaks the law all the time. So what? Forget all that red tape. Give them a white man that'll tear his Trump's butt up.
They would have lost. They would have lost too. They would have. Yes. Yes. In 108 days. And you can't give money that was raised by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden to another person.
We follow the law. Oh, yeah, we can't do this. But Trump does what he wanted to do.
Bob, we're not going to do what he does, because that's the difference between us and him. We don't do what he does. And I get where you're coming from, because you make it seem like, it would have been easy if the two white guys would have ran. They would have lost too. The whole country shifted to the right. There was nothing that Gavin Newsom could have done. And plus, if people understand some of the weird politics that goes on in California, nobody would want that for the entire country. Gavin Newsom is a lot less attractive of an actual political candidate than people think. They think because, California's a big state and he's tall and he's handsome and got slick back hair that he would make a good presidential candidate. No, he wouldn't. He just looks good. That's it.
All right. To end my segment right here.
Oh, okay.
Black men, there's an aroma in this country. An aroma, the black men ain't nothing. They are in. It's many examples. But
give me one example of that aroma, because when you said aroma, I thought you was talking about the smell of weed, because that's a popular aroma. Oh,
it's the aroma of treaty. Man, it's so many examples, but I'm going to just give you one. And even the rich people.
Oh, the rich.
You can fight a lot of racism with money, but I give you one real example. Phil Jackson, to me, is a real undercover racist.
Who?
How is he a racist?
Phil Jackson, a former coach of the Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Phil Jackson was an assistant coach at first. Michael Jordan got him famous by having 6 championships. I love Michael Jordan no matter what. I just love him. But, and he, and when they said he can't have Phil Jackson next year, those men that owned it couldn't become governor. Michael Jordan become governor or mayor, but they said, you're a basketball player in a way. You can't have Phil Jackson, and he quit. And then he got Kobe, and Phil Jackson got Kobe, and Shaq, and they would have won the championship with any coach. But they put him with him because, he got famous through Michael Jordan. But he didn't recognize it. He don't care. He's white. And I'm above, just like the immigrants. Come over here. Okay, let me stick with Phil Jackson real quick. Then I'm glad they kicked him out of New York. And then to show that he's a racist, have you ever heard him ever say anything about the blacks' cause? Have you ever heard him say anything? And then Michael Jordan on the team in North Carolina, do you think Phil Jackson would say, after he was loyal to him, to quit the team after 6 years, 6 championships? He was loyal. And Phil Jackson, what did he do? He didn't. I want to be a coach to show you how I appreciate you making me famous like you did. I was just an assistant. No, he didn't do that. No. I'm white. I'm big time. The immigrants vote for me, even though Trump said he's kicking them out. They go towards the ruling class. Hey, we vote. That's how blacks. And so many other examples of how we are a N-word. And even in Alabama recently, they finally came up with how they was treating blacks. I don't know if you heard about Alabama. Have you heard about that yet?
Bob, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what's going on. I heard immigrants. I heard Phil Jackson. I heard somebody running for governor. I heard Kobe Bryant. I don't know. Here's what I can't understand. And thank you for your call, Bob. Here's what I can't understand. I can't understand how Al is banned, but Bob isn't. Make that make sense. What was that? Because I was going to let the man talk, okay? Because I had a little bit of time left in this segment. I was like, oh, Bob is going to arrive at a point that's going to make some sense. He's going to get there. He just kept adding stuff and just kept Phil Jackson a racist, huh?
If you miss Al, just say that.
I totally miss Al.
You miss Al?
Of course I do. Al is the most popular caller on any of these shows, hands down. Al has a following. In some cases, I think that's bigger than some hosts on 101.7 The Truth.
Bigger than yours?
No, I wouldn't go that damn far. Mm-hmm. But people like to tune in because of the variety that he brings. Because I don't know if y'all know this. Talk radio is boring. It's boring. It's a bunch of people that have boring. A bunch of... Yes, it is, Rick.
It's not.
Unless you make it interesting. You have to make it exciting. You don't think talk radio is boring? Okay, how often do you listen to other talk radio stations?
I actually listen to a lot of talk.
Which ones do you listen to, and what times, who are the hosts, and what are the topics?
Mostly I listen to 101.
Okay, no, don't count this. Because if you listen to talk radio, you listen to all of it. Exactly. It's boring! You have to make it interesting.
Do you consider the Breakfast Club talk radio? Or Steve Harvey talk? Well, yeah, Steve Harvey's talk radio. I listen to him sometimes.
Steve Harvey is an idiot. And the Breakfast Club is the downfall of the black community. Charlemagne is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to broadcast, my opinion.
It's entertaining.
Exactly, but that's our problem. Black folks spend too much time being entertained and less time being educated, and we are getting screwed 6 ways from Sunday. But as long as you make us laugh, and as long as you tell us about what Keke Palmer is doing, then, we are happier than pigs in slop. So I don't, quite honestly...
How about this?
I don't blame white folks for taking advantage of us because we're easy targets.
What are some good talk radios that I can listen to? Because I love talk radio, to be honest. And I might be young for my age, but I like to be informed sometimes. So what are some good radio shows that are good talk radio shows?
It's all subjective, Rick. It's whatever you find interesting. Like, I can't, say, I like X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. And you may not find that.
I take your judgment... I applaud your judgment. So, what are some shows that you listen to? Do you listen to podcasts?
No.
Do you listen to anything outside of 101 The Truth?
I watch more than I listen because I need visual. So I watch MSNBC and CNN.
Okay.
And the topics that they discuss make sense to me. Do I sit and listen to a radio? No, I don't listen to a radio.
But
also hosts are just
But don't you listen to what do you listen to when you're in the car riding from meeting to meeting or to lunch or to even home?
Music. I just got my Spotify Wrapped, and I saw all the music that I listen to on Spotify. 12,000 minutes worth of music I listen to on Spotify. I don't listen to I'll be honest with y'all. The only talk radio that I actually listen to is on my drive home, and I'm 10 minutes from my house. Is Jamming with Juice. That's it. Because sometimes the interaction between Ben and Carrie are hilarious. But I don't listen because of their topics. I listen because I listen to the dynamic.
Because it's entertaining.
The topics are not for me. It's the dynamic and the chemistry amongst hosts. When there's talk radio that has a host and a co-host, I listen for that. Because two people that are interesting and funny and can play off of each other's personalities is more dynamic than the topic. Because, hell, I can go research the topic myself. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But, yes, it is. Once I get off the air, I do want to be slightly entertained. And when Benjamin lost his voice and did the whole show with his Mickey Mouse voice.
Imitation of Ben's voice.
I'm just here because I love my job. I love what I do. I love you, Truth Nation. Funniest thing I ever heard. Well, no, most talk radio was boring. And so somebody like Al adds interest to, and that's the other thing. And I don't want to talk about my vocation like that, but y'all know that most talk radio is garbage. It is. It is. It's just some people that got an opportunity to get a microphone and to share their opinions. And a lot of times the stuff that they report as fact is usually fiction. You have to make it interesting. You got to make it exciting, and it can't be predictable. The whole point of the game is to get people listening. And you do whatever you have to do to get it listening. I try my damnedest not to have a boring show. That's why I do weird and unconventional things. I will try things that other hosts are afraid to do. They're scared. I don't care about failing. That's how I learn. I've had shows that I wish I never did. I've had some horrible shows. I've also had some shows, because I'm willing to take risks, that will live on forever. Guests and interviews I've done that have lived on and will live on forever. But for the most part, it's boring. Except for Benjamin and Carrie. Benjamin just walked in the studio. Or walked in the producer studio. All right, I'm going to take a break. Bottom line, yes, Rick, I miss Al calling. And I posted something in my Facebook group, and the number of people that are unhappy about the decision that was made actually is affecting me personally. Because I'm not here to just always just talk about stuff that I want to hear. People want to listen to certain stuff. You know, if they want to hear Al, then who am I to say no? That's why I'm encouraging Al to start his own podcast and his own show. If Al had a YouTube channel, it would blow us out of the water. Maybe we shouldn't tell him to get a YouTube channel. Truth Nation won't be a nation no more. It'll be a Truth Village. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, we're talking about up to $5 million, which for small business owners, we need that. That's like payroll, that's resources. So can you just let us know, what is the program and why is this lending program so important to Old National Bank?
Years ago, our CEO, Jim Ryan, this program is his brainchild. He was working with Roland Shelton, who you know, Denise, out of Evansville, and they identified that African-American business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
Sometimes it takes a breakdown to have a breakthrough. And at Vin Baker Recovery, they understand the power of having real support while you're on that journey to recovery. This is why at Vin Baker Recovery, they customize treatment plans specific for your needs. Vin Baker Recovery provides our community and anyone looking for help with access to mental health care and recovery support, helping you treat addiction. So whether opioid abuse, alcohol, or other controlled substances, Vin Baker Recovery helps you get back to the lifestyle that you know will be the best option for your future. Vin Baker Recovery offers licensed counseling and therapy services to curb the mental health problems that have been impacting our communities for far too long. They provide services like medication-assisted treatment, outpatient care, and hub and spoke services with peer support. So what are you waiting for? Vin Baker Recovery accepts walk-ins and appointments. It's just that easy. Just visit VinBakerRecovery.com. That's VinBakerRecovery.com. They're here to help you win the day.
Busy commute? Surf to Tsunami Express Car Wash. In just 3 minutes, your car will look fresh and ready to get back on the road. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with state-of-the-art tunnels, free vacuums, mat cleaners, and complimentary detailing supplies. Visit any of their 5 convenient locations in the greater Milwaukee area. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Get your first wash free when you sign up online at tsunamiexpress.com.
Bango made his list and checked it twice. Turns out Bucks fans are really nice. Slay the holidays with a limited time ticket offer that will land you at the top of Bango's nice list. Score gifts for the Bucks fans in your life and treat yourself too. Holiday packages feature ticket codes to redeem now or use later, exclusive Bucks holiday items, and an e-gift card that can be used to eat, drink, and be merry at Pfizer Forum. Explore options at bucks.com/deal season.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Bust it open, get you some. Bust it open, get you some. Bust it open, bust it open. Bust it out, get you some. Bust it open, bust it open, bust it open, get.
Zach made that remix. So this was good God. It was probably over a year ago.
Yeah, I remember I was in the car actually listening to your show before I started working here, and I was in the car cracking up laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
So Al said those lines just in a routine call with me. Next thing I know, Zach is in the producer's studio and put that remix together in like 3 minutes. He's a very creative guy, both Zach and Al. Let's talk to Paige. Thank you for holding. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I just want to say that I'm trying to get this stuff. The dark web, I know, has been around for like years, and it was like goes far back like the 60s and the 70s. But it was this is what I learned from my crime shows. In 2000, in the late 2000s, that's the first time I heard about cryptocurrency and how it was just an online currency to be used to buy drugs and other illegal things. And so on American Greed, that's that crime show, American Greed, if anybody's interested in knowing, they talk about Silk Road.
Oh, yeah.
And then they talk about...
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with the Silk Road. Originally got shut down by the CIA.
Right. And so the young guy who started it back up, he went on. He was a young guy, and then he got caught up because he got hijacked by other online pirates. And so then he finally ended up going to jail and whatnot. But if anybody is interested in knowing like where this cryptocurrency comes from, is in that's where I learned about it from on American Greed back in 2000. So it's been around for a long time. And it still hasn't picked up the momentum that people are, thinking that it should. So that to me just kind of is a red light that it's not really worth the trouble. So it's not really worth it. I wouldn't invest in it. I don't believe it.
All right. Thank you, Paige, for that sound advice, and I'm right with you. I'm not investing in it either. All right then, Paige.
All right. Bye.
Bye. She said true crime stories. Don't do it. There's a guy named Sam Bankman-Fried. He was thought to be they had a nickname for dude. He was the poster boy for cryptocurrency. And then he started a crypto exchange called FTX. And a lot of folks, black folks, invested via FTX in a number of Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrencies. Well, he was found out to be a fraud. And everyone that invested in FTX lost all of their money. And if you're wondering where the former poster boy for cryptocurrency is right now, he's serving 25 years in federal prison. It is speculative, and it's designed to take advantage of people that want to get rich quickly, and designed to take advantage of people who are vulnerable financially. That is what it is. It's also ripe for the picking to be a favorite of Donald Trump and his administration, because they are going to do exactly that. They're going to set up cryptocurrency to where it appears to be supported by a federal government that at the very least is going to be faulty, and at the worst, our federal government will be illegitimate. And so if they are getting behind a digital currency that's only gaining in value because of speculation, it's not tied to anything in the economy, it's not tied to labor, it's not tied to productivity, it's not tied to any kind of profitability. In fact, it is a currency that was designed so that criminals can buy things from one another without being traced. That is nothing that we should be invested in, but for some reason, African Americans are more heavily invested in crypto and in Bitcoin than people that have actual real money. If you want good financial advice and sound advice, get a financial advisor. You cannot do it on your own. I wouldn't buy a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air and think that I could restore it on my own. I would need a tremendous amount of help. I would need somebody that knows how to do brakes and engines and transmissions, and you need an upholsterer that can do the interior and someone that can fix and replace the rack and the pinion and the gauges and all of the different things. I can't do it on my own. It's too complicated. It's too much. And to think that, I'm going to buy this car and I'm going to fix it up myself. No, you're not. You're going to fall into pitfalls. You're going to realize the stuff costs a lot more than you thought. You're going to have to buy this part, replace this part. You're going to realize you don't know what the hell you're doing. By the time it's too late, you've lost all your money. I'm different. I don't play with money like that. I know what money can do. I also know what it can do when you don't have it. So I don't play about my money now. Let's talk to someone else who don't play about their money. Her name is Linda Shack. Hi, Linda. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, good Karma Brand. And good morning to all the good black and white people of Milwaukee.
And Wisconsin.
And America. At this point, we're all in the same boat. Good morning, Sherwin.
Hi, Linda.
I've been listening to you maybe like 9, 10 o'clock at night. But the call that I wanted to respond to was with Kathy. I'm thinking about running for a board member.
Oh, good.
Since she opened up since she informed us of that opportunity, I thought, oh my God, this was a good time that I was listening. And so I wanted to know, what the requirements, what the procedures, and just, look into it, because I think that it would inform me as I pursue my dream of having my own school and how to run a school board and this and that. So I thought that it would, also benefit me in my future endeavors. So I wanted to get more information, maybe have Kathy call me. I just thought that, it was a great thing for me to look into.
So I'm going to make it real easy for you, Linda. There's a website, the City of Milwaukee website. They literally have it step by step with all the information you need, all the documents you need, all the forms you need to print out. And it's called How to Run for Public Office. It gives you everything you need. The forms you got to file, the details on the signatures you have to collect, et cetera, et cetera. So that's number one. So if you just Google How to Run for Public Office Milwaukee, that website will come up. That's all the information that you will need. That's number one. Number two, if you want to open a school, getting elected to the school board is going to put that goal off, because it is highly unlikely that you will be able to get funding or a charter to start a non-public school from the school board in which you are a member. So if you run for school board, lo and behold, you win, and you serve for however long you are a member of the school board will be time you will not be able to start your school, because that will be the biggest conflict of interest, and it might actually be illegal, because the school board itself would probably have to authorize your charter, and if you're a member of the school board, you can't authorize a charter from an entity in which you were elected to. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I wasn't planning on doing both at the same time.
Okay.
I wanted to just get the experience first of being on the school board, and then, after I finished serving that term, then, because I'm also studying, writing my, school vision, so I'm still not there yet.
Okay.
And I think that just having the experience of being on the school board, and then once I leave, I will leave with the information going forward with my own school. But I wouldn't do it all at the same time.
Okay.
Although I would be studying in preparation for my school. This is all research first. I just love research, and I love to be informed before I just step into something. But I just
Linda,
wanted
before
to comment.
you go on, I'm going to offer you a choice. Do you want red pill or blue pill? Pick one. Let's pick one.
Can I get a black pill?
No, red or blue.
I'm gonna go with the hot one, red.
All right. You want to run for school board? Maybe you get elected because you want the experience of being a board member. When you become an elected member of the school board, student achievement and lack thereof for black students is going to be your fault. The district needing another referendum is going to be your fault. The suspension rate, the dropout rate is going to be your fault. Making sure that there are police officers in schools and MPS that are probably going to give children an arrest record, that is all going to be your fault. The overall lack of performance of the district is going to be your fault. So know that going into it. This is not an endeavor that you run for to get the experience of. Now, you're going to get the experience, but no, there will be people protesting at your house. There will be people that will show up to school board meetings yelling and screaming your name and wanting you to resign. There will be people that will be threatening to recall you every single day. The phone calls, the emails, the anonymous letters you were going to get by disgruntled parents, all of that is going to be on you. You still want to run for the school board? Now, if you say yes to that, then we will help you with your campaign. But you can't walk into this thinking like, I'm just here for the experience. It will be your job to fix what is wrong with MPS, or the parents and the taxpayers in this city will chew you up. They're not going to say, Linda's just there to get the experience. If you run for school board and win, you are being hired to fix it.
Oh, I'm not just going for the experience, Sherwin.
Okay.
I am going to bring my own experience and ideology and educational knowledge to the table, and so in all of those characteristics you just described, it just reminds me of being a black woman. Hello. I face those challenges every day. Being a black woman, being a single black woman, you're accused of everything. You're blamed for everything. So I'm built for it. Is what I'm saying. So, but yeah, I know the experience as a whole, and I just think that my vision and my drive, my passion, my love for children and their right.
Lynn, I need you to hang on, because I'm not done with you, but I need to take a break, so you're going to hold on.
Okay.
And we're going to further develop this idea, so you hold on, don't go nowhere. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
coming with straight truth.
We have to make sure that when we talk about making change, when you talk about vote, when you talk about these elections, when you talk about how we're going to get ahead, we definitely got to start paying attention to the local process, because these are the processes that are governing our lives.
Yes.
And they got you looking across the street down at Donald Trump. They've got you looking at Project 2025, but you barely got money to stay alive.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
It's that time. Thursday, December 19th, the Wisconsin Black Chamber is adding value to someone's business with $10,000, $7,000, or $3,000. Thursday, December 19th at the Deco, 7140 West Greenfield Avenue, 5 to 9 p.m. We're celebrating our third annual Black and Diverse Gala featuring the pitch finale. Of course, there'll be great food. This year, we highlight Tons of Love Catering, Lily Bell's Catering and Fine Dining, and Dream Foods. And we don't stop there. Deshay AG will be performing. The Black Winemaker Chicago Day Trip participants are hosting a wine tasting. There's life-changing networking opportunities, games, prizes, raffles, giveaways, and DJ L Boogie making your body move. And of course, there's vendors ready to help you get your last-minute shopping done while you party. We take pride in doing the most. We work hard all year, and we plan to celebrate with that same energy. It's all love. Thursday, December 19th, 5 to 9 at the Deco. Tickets are on sale now. Visit twbcc.com so you don't miss out on what we have going on. twbcc.com.
Sybaris Pool Suites. Romantic, luxurious, affordable. A place where romance touches paradise and the memories of a lifetime are made. Sybaris offers a variety of room styles, including the exquisite Chalet Suite, which spans 3 levels and features your own private swimming pool with cascading waterfall, soothing whirlpool tub, a cozy fireplace, and much more to make your stay unforgettable. They are located in Mequon, just north of Milwaukee. Take a virtual tour at Sybaris.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
One of the best things about the holidays is going home to be with family and friends. One of the worst things, getting there. Be safe this holiday season. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prostate cancer screening is a simple blood test. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. If you want info on how to take action, the Prostate Cancer Foundation is here to help. Go to pcf.org today. Remember, it's your life, and it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's go back to Linda. Linda, do you know what school board district you live in currently? I want to say you live in Daryl Jackson's district. Do you know who's your current school board member?
Latanya.
Latanya who?
Or, I don't.
You don't know who it is, do you?
Johnson?
Latanya Johnson is a state senator. So you don't know who your current school board member is? Okay. The district that Kathy was talking about is on the east side. You don't live on the east side, so if you wanted to run in the district that Kathy was talking about, you'd have to.
Hampton. No, I'm Sherman in Hampton.
So you'd have to run against your current incumbent school board member. So if you want to get on the board, that's what you'd have to do, unless you want to move.
No, I don't want to move.
Okay.
I mean, I eventually want to move because this area is, kind of declining since I've been over here 40 years. But
well, the election the primary is going to be in February. The general is going to be in April. You will have 6 months to move into the district if you do run on the east side. So you have 6 months to sell your house and then buy a house or rent an apartment on the east side. If not, they're going to file charges against you, because that is a set of charges that is currently filed against Aisha Carr, because they say she didn't live in the district in which she ran. Another question for you. Did you happen to read Project 2025?
No.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people didn't. It was
That's
long.
why I listen to you.
Right, no,
to you to get
but I'm
that
saying it's long. It's like 887 pages or something like that.
Right.
The NPS budget is 1,008 pages, and you will have to read every single line of it because you then would have to make decisions based on 1,000. I'm just telling you what the job entails. Oh, and by the way, your salary is $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're used to it because you're a black woman. Black women are not responsible for fixing. No, but Linda, let me finish.
Familiar.
Black women, when they are born or when they turn 18, are not responsible for fixing everything that's wrong in a public school system. Yes, we do rely heavily on black women for a lot of things, but if the school system doesn't automatically improve overnight, we won't just blame black women for that. But if you get elected to the school board, I will blame you for it. Because you make a conscious choice to try and fix what ails the system that educates a majority black and brown student body. Here's the other thing. You're going to need about $60,000, Linda, for your campaign. You got 60 grand laying around?
Well, that's another thing. If I had 60 grand laying around, guess what, Sherwin? I would invest in the stock market. Although there's doubt and skepticism about crypto and Bitcoin, I'm here to say that black people just can't work a 9 to 5 and create generational wealth.
So what I'm saying before you get off track, you don't have money for your campaign. So you'd have to have fundraisers. Do you know people that would give you $60,000?
I believe that I can probably go on Facebook and do a GoFundMe.
Oh, a GoFundMe for your campaign. Those work well. Okay. All right.
But and also
can't raise money for a political campaign with a GoFundMe. It's a little bit of a different process, but all right. I just want you to because here's the thing with us. A lot of us, we see a problem, we want to solve it. Oh, I'm going to run for office and fix it, and then we get into office and have no idea what we signed up for. And I'm glad that you expressed this interest because I can explain this to anyone else who was thinking the same thing. Nothing about it is easy. The only days it'll be easy, Linda, are the days in which nobody calls you. But then you'll get twice as many calls the next day.
And I think that anything good we do is not going to be easy. That's why a person that steps up before that already have decided to take that on. But also I'd like to say this, Sharon, when it comes to assurance, because that's what you're talking about here. When we buy a car, we don't have full assurance that that car is going to be reliable or the money that we've invested in and signed up for, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, it's going to come back with benefits. But we do it, don't we? So that's my analogy to investing in the stock market and also investing in any endeavor we do for the benefit and the upliftment for our community and the next person.
Melinda, if you run for any elected office, you're not going to get rewarded for the attempt. You're going to be judged on the accomplishment. So people won't say, oh, well, Linda gave it a try. She took a risk. She ran for school board. She won. She fixed absolutely nothing. Let's give her a round of applause. No, your reputation will be forever damaged. So you just got to think about all that.
And we do that every time we engage in a relationship.
Oh, good God.
When we invest in a person and then we lay down with that person and we realize, hello, what have
Linda,
we gotten into?
I got to go, though.
So we do it every day.
All right. Thank you, Linda. She thought her state senator was a school board director. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture. Truth Nation, let us take a second to brag for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like President Joe Biden.
Black child poverty was cut in half in 2021. We built black wealth, 15 million jobs nationwide, more than 2.5 million for black Americans. Black wealth is up 60% since the pandemic.
Former President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump.
Guys, we almost had a former president and very likely future president assassinated on live TV. Like, you know what that would have done for this country? You know what that would have made our country look like? We would look like a banana republic.
And Brewers all-star and former National League MVP Christian Yelich.
Listen, you already know.
Yeah, we got we were just in LA, so we heard our fair share of Kendrick out there in LA. Dodger Stadium has one of the best sound systems in baseball too.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app, listening live on 1017thetruth.com, and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. When I look at all these different events throughout American history, I see how we as black people have been screwed over so many times. It doesn't mean that it's going to keep us in a permanent position of second-class citizenship, but it hasn't really helped boost our position like you would think. We've been screwed over so many different ways that once you take an inventory of all the different ways in which we've been screwed over and you add it up, it's horrible. And the problem is the people that have benefited from us getting screwed over when it comes to home buying, banking, fair and equitable policing, lower levels of education, lower academic standard, you name it, lower funding. When we have a natural disaster that hits our community, we get $99,000 less than a comparable white family. When you add all of that stuff up, it spells out the disparities that we so easily can point to. Here's the problem with American politics. It's not equipped to address and remedy those wrongs. It is more designed to make people who have been wronged feel comfortable in the wrongs of history. I hope that made sense. It's not necessarily designed to remedy, but to provide comfort to those who are still on the bottom rungs. And the people, the agencies, and the institutions and the collaboratives that have benefited from us being screwed over have no interest in turning the tide. Because a lot of them have gotten to where they are because of the downtrodden economic situations that we are in. That is why they have achieved certain levels of success, because we had to be focused on other things and worried about other things and turning our additional time that we have into money to pay the bills, and they could go and achieve success. They have no motivating interest to fix a system that cleared their competition. And some would say, well, affirmative action did help level the playing field in some aspects. Well, now it's unconstitutional. And I think that's what is tough about politics, because black people, left, right, and center, can complain about what is wrong, what needs to be fixed. But we're complaining to the people that benefited from what is wrong. And then we're asking a lot of them to fix for us what worked for them. And that is the difficult part about it. And so once we communicate all of the ways in which we have been harmed, all of the ways that have not stifled but slowed our progress, that's what they double down on. Donald Trump has built a political empire onto listening to grievances of people, hearing what certain people need, right? And taking advantage of it. Oh, I know you're in a bad situation. I know things are terrible for you. Look at the price of bacon. Look at the price of eggs. Hey, vote for me. Like, he takes your grievances, spits them back out to you, but then uses your grievances against you. Let's talk to Security Mike. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, Sherwin. Hey, I'm glad you did what you did with the caller. Was that Miss Shaq?
Yeah, I feel kind of bad, but I had to be honest.
I know you saved her, man. Yeah, you was honest about that. You know, they're delusional now about want to run for school board and these other. Don't you got to know something about that? I mean, for crying out loud, you got White Widow talking about running for something as well, and she don't like you, Sherman. she called in some shows. She got an issue with you because you be keeping it real with her too. But they all delusional, man. But I'm glad you're saving that lady from herself.
Who doesn't like me? I missed that part. Who's the person that don't like me?
That White Widow lady. White Widow.
Oh, she's not important. I wouldn't even know she existed.
Yeah, I know. You be checking her a lot.
Yeah, she doesn't call my show.
She sounds delusional too, talking about running for mayor or something. I said, get out of here.
Well, she's slightly schizophrenic.
Yeah. And like you said, you saved Miss Shaq because she ain't got 60,000. I don't think she got no 60,000. And you don't use no GoFundMe for something like that. I mean, they don't even sound right. Hey, Sherman, though, but they contacted me about, when I was talking to you, told me to go check out Axe Housing.
Yes.
But I'm going to be checking with they contacted me in about 2 weeks for the habitat. But man, the neighborhoods these houses in, the two that I will be accepted for are 18th and 19th and Monarchy, 15th and Wright. They're 2 and 3 bedroom cribs that I qualify for. I don't qualify for the homes.
Okay.
But man, those areas, man, I took a ride over in those. I don't know, Sherwin. I don't know if I want to do that, and should I even embark on something like that with me being in my early 60s? And they say those mortgages run about 10 to 12, maybe 15 years, because the mortgages are $850 to $1,000. Man, I'm thinking I should wait, but then I would have to go through the whole process all over again.
Hang on a second. The mortgages are 10 to 15 years, so the house is paid off in 10 to 15 years? No.
Yeah, they're most cribs be like what, in the $300,000, $400,000 range, and they like 30-year mortgages. These are 185 to 185,000 to about 220.
Okay.
She was telling me over the phone. So she
That's
said,
still probably going to have a 30-year
should I embark on something like that?
I want to be clear. I want to be clear on the terms of your mortgage. Just because the price of the house is lower does not necessarily mean that your mortgage is going to be shorter. So if you have a $185,000 house and you have a 10-year mortgage, your monthly payment will be
10 to 12 years, maybe 15. With all these, because see, the mortgage rates would be what I would pay at $850 a month or even $1,000 a month. I think I'll be in that $850 a month range because of the size. It's only a 2 and 3 bedroom unit. I'll qualify for it.
Mike, if you can get a house, hold on, Mike,
low.
listen. If you can get a house paid off in 10 to 15 years, do it. Doesn't matter where it is. Then double pay the mortgage and have it paid off in 5 years. Sell it and get the hell out of there. I hope that's actually how it works, because that's fantastic.
Well, I know more when they call me in, and then I have to go over to the sweat equity. So I think it's 200. What she say, 200 or 250 hours of class time, and then I can actually go to the site.
Oh, this is for Habitat.
As well, like that.
For Habitat, not Axe Housing. Oh, that's a different program.
No, not Axe Housing. Habitat for Humanity, right? Remember I told you about that, and you said maybe I should check in the Axe as well. But I think Axe mortgages is a little more than that.
Probably, but I think you also have more flexibility with where you can move and the houses that they would have for sale. But, Mike, let me be clear with you. If you can get a house, it don't matter what neighborhood it's in, and have it paid off in 10 to 15 years, you should strongly consider that, especially if your mortgage payment is going to be as low as what you just told us. So wait till they call you back, see what they say, and then call us back and let us know what they said.
Yeah, they'll be calling me. She said sometime the new year around in January is where I'm at on the list, because I was wondering, because when I went online, I applied, I registered, and then I did the application process. I hadn't heard from them, but then they did say 8 to 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So I went over to Habitat, and I called an associate, and she pulled me up. She said, "Yeah, Mike, you qualify for everything, but we're running a little slow right now, and we'll get to you around the new year sometime in January."
Now, you will be helping.
I'm just wondering, should I embark on that show with my age and everything?
Yes. Mike, yes, there's not even a question. Yes. Now, you're going to be helping to build it and rehab the house now, which is also good for you, because you will have the knowledge and the know-how in case you need to fix something. It will be a little bit easier for you because you help rebuild the house yourself. Do it, Mike. There's no reason not to. How much do you pay for rent right now?
Yeah, where I'm at, I'm paying $750 already. So what's another $100? And then I'm in this loft and I'm in a bad neighborhood right now. So I was like, damn, what's the difference?
The difference is when you purchase a home through Habitat or anywhere else, after a certain amount of time, you'll have something to sell. Or when you rent, you don't have anything to sell.
All right, man. Thanks for the advice, man. And the other host talking about 2025 going to be a good year, but I don't think it's going to be good for us.
Well, we'll find out.
So we'll find out. Keep up the good work, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I didn't know Habitat. Does that sound right to y'all, that you can have your house paid off in 10 to 15 years? I mean, that's something the Habitat could potentially do. Okay. Let's talk to Beverly. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind, Beverly?
So I have 3 comments.
Okay.
And I'm just going to make it quick. I listen to your show all the time, and I want my kids to listen to it because I don't listen to V100 or 105.7 because of that frequency. I'm very spiritual, just not into it. So I would like for you, and I'm sorry I'm so frank, to see if you can use correct English instead of saying ain't. I want my kids to hear this, but I won't let them hear people who talk like that. That's one. Second, I wanted to comprehend and understand.
I ain't going to do that.
Why you discourage. That's fine.
Okay.
So then that's an example of how we as people can help change, but we just are stuck in our ways.
Beverly, do you know that there are far worse things that your kids are exposed to, probably in your own house
there
and
are,
in their
but
schools?
That's not in your control. Yes, there are, sir. But that's
what is in your control is for other radio programs you and your children can listen to where the English and the grammar is more fitting for what you want for your children.
Fitting.
I have an audience that I've been talking to for a very long. I'm not going to make it clear. I got to explain something to you, though. Right? This is not a monologue. It's a dialogue.
Can I just finish my comment super quick? That's a sidebar, and you don't have to change the way you talk. I just was mentioning that to see if there could be other people that feel like that. The other stations aren't good enough either. I mentioned the frequency is not where I want. That's one comment. Second thing is I just wanted to comprehend and understand why would you discourage Linda, the woman who called about running for political positions. funds. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Because honesty shouldn't be discouraging. She would be better off knowing what she's going into instead of just wanting to get the experience.
And I preface spiritual because look, I'm a homeowner. My house is paid off. I'm 36 years old. I don't work anymore. I'm very blessed. And it's not because I went to school, saved money, did all these extra things, and was so responsible. It's because I'm very spiritual. So when we do something, if you just step out and do something, you never know what can happen.
How does spirituality get your house paid for at 36? I'm very curious, as are a lot of people.
So that's enough. Yes, and that's the honest truth. My name is Beverly Hay.
How did you do it, Beverly?
However,
you could be a benefit to the listeners. Can you tell us how you paid the house?
And I will tell you.
Okay.
And I'm trying to tell you right now, but I just want to get my comments out first. I just want to encourage everybody to continue to run for policies. If you get denied, so what? There's going to be someone that looks at you and says, wow, she did that, I'm going to do it too. Of course we may fail. We got to keep doing it. I wrote a business plan, and I'm searching for something super far-fetched. I want a pyramid in the middle of Milwaukee, and I want the government to pay for it. God told me to do that.
God told you to build a pyramid.
That's not what I said. I said I want a pyramid structure in Milwaukee as a resource center for the youth that is built from the ground up to educate our people. That's a very far-fetched dream, but I wrote a business plan on that, and spirituality is pushing me, not backing, not education, it's not. So the people who are spiritual, those are the things that move things. Continue to run. Please run for policies so other people can get out of their comfort zone. I think you, Sherman, said a great thing when you said that this world is designed to make the people feel...
Sherwin. Say the name
Sherwin,
right.
I apologize.
You don't want me to say ain't, you got to say my name right. All right.
Okay. I know you're an entertainer, but this is really real, and I appreciate the things that you say on your show.
Building a pyramid
this world is designed to make us feel comfortable. Yeah, just like there's a pyramid on our dollar and our money, and just like all the infrastructures came from the Egyptians and things like that, I want to have the shape of a pyramid, and when you go in, it'll be a modernized resource center and a lab and a theater for our youth. So that's my separate dream. That only God can give me that. I don't have the money. I don't have that, but I believe in everything in my life has been done with my spirituality. So I just didn't understand why you were discouraging her from running.
I was being honest with things that she needed to know because she was going to find those things out eventually, and I'd rather prepare someone. See, this is our problem. We have an idea, and it feels good because we're
not
motivated.
God. Go forth, everybody.
Oh, Beverly. What? She lost me a pyramid. And she's going, so did God tell her to? So I'm just trying to, she doesn't like when I say ain't because she wants her kids to hear proper English. So, and I told her I ain't going to do that. That's something I just ain't going to do today. I know that what I do is not for everyone. It's not for the Beverlys of the world. And God bless you, Beverly, and I wish you luck on your pyramid. So where do you put that? How do you get the zoning and the approval to build a pyramid? Like what if she builds it? I will eat my words. I have a feeling I will not be eating any words. If someone has an idea and they want their idea to come to fruition, I think it is beneficial to them and advantageous to them to know all of the things that will be involved in this idea. And once they know all of the details, because the idea feels good, it's a fantastic idea, it's great. It's like a eureka moment. But once you realize all of the things that are involved, all the things it will entail, you may decide that's not the best idea for you. Once you have all of the information. And I wanted to be clear, I didn't want to discourage Linda from running for office. Linda would run for office in a district that she didn't live in. She might win, and she would be indicted if she didn't move into the district. Why? Because someone is indicted because of that exact same thing. She thinks that she can raise $60,000 on a GoFundMe account. When you run for public office, there are legal limits to how much money you can raise per an individual. If you have a GoFundMe account to fund your campaign, there are no limits to how much money people can contribute through GoFundMe. She'd be indicted on that too. Do you see how that works? How the hard head makes a soft ass? And I was over here talking about cryptocurrency. Well, if Beverly doesn't like me using the word ain't, she really ain't going to like the title of this show. See, this is why talk radio is not boring, Rick. This is because you have people that, what do I even do at this point? Like, what? You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Ain't.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's good, y'all? This is 1017 The Truth's Telly Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. The goal of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is to provide a platform for citizens of Milwaukee and Truth Nation to have their voices heard about concerns that have daily, direct impact. So join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
What are some of the things that we need to really focus on to get our fair share of these opportunities, i.e. access to capital?
You know, it's very important to always think about building a strong business plan, understanding the financial parameters around what you're trying to accomplish, building great networks and great relationships so you can have partnerships and building out your dream. And then finding a good financial partner like Old National to help really orchestrate your vision of the organization. And then, as you know, DT, you wouldn't be where you're at because you're phenomenal, doing great work. And then you have to really have to go to work. If you have that dream, you have that vision, the business plan, the financial piece, then you have to really work at it and keep building.
Learn more about the Old National Bank Small Business Empowerment Loan by visiting oldnational.com/small business or contact a small business banker at Old National Bank.
Take the stress out of the holiday season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Get all your shopping done with Bucks deal season offers, featuring great gifts and limited time packages that even Scrooge will love. Score deals for everyone on your list, including yourself, from the Milwaukee Bucks and Pfizer Forum. 'Tis the season for cheer with your favorite deer. After all, there's no place like Pfizer Forum for the holidays. Shop the offers today at bucks.com/deal season.
Do you need CPR or first aid certification? A&E CPR has got you covered. With over 15 years in the health and wellness industry, A&E CPR is a trusted American Red Cross training provider right here in Milwaukee. Whether it's CPR, first aid, or AED training, A&E CPR classes give you the skills and confidence you need to respond to life-threatening emergencies. They offer online courses and in-person classes. You can even receive your certification the same day you complete the class. So visit ANECPR.com to get certified today. That's ANECPR.com.
At We Energies, we're committed to building a bright, sustainable energy future. We're investing in clean energy projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. As a leader in the decarbonization effort, our goal is to achieve net zero carbon emissions from our generation fleet by 2050. It's part of our plan to provide the affordable, reliable, and clean energy you depend on. Learn more at WeEnergies.com.
We Energies. People you can trust, energy you can depend on. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number, which a lot of you already know, is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Gene says, is it a full moon? These people are out there today. I don't know, but I know there is a difference when the moon is full or when something is in retrograde, Mercury or something in retrograde. Ty says, Beverly sold her body. She ain't getting her house paid off like that. Let's keep it real. Hey, we don't know that, Ty. We don't know. Vince said, that Beverly lady is nuts. Kelvin says, the blockchain technology is what you're investing in. There's nothing illegal about cryptocurrency. No, there's nothing illegal about it. It's just largely unregulated, and far too many African Americans are heavily invested in it, thinking they're going to get rich quick. And Bitcoin has been on a tear lately. It's not going to go up forever. It has crashed dozens of times. And usually with us, because we are relatively inexperienced investors, and I say that because if we were experienced investors, we would be investing in ETFs and investing in the Dow 30 and blue chip stocks and mutual funds. We put a certain amount of money into whatever investment it is, 10 grand. It might be the only 10 grand we have. And when there's a market correction, that 10 grand might be $5,000. When you only have $10,000 and you see your 10 grand get cuts of $5,000 because there has been a retracement or a pullback or the market dips, you freak out. And then you pull your $5,000 out of the market because you don't want to go down to zero. You just lost $5 grand. Instead of investing more money when there's a retracement or when the market dips, and then what was $10,000 can be $20,000. We usually don't have that kind of patience. African Americans are typically much more conservative with our investments. We don't really take a lot of risk. That's because we start later. You can take tremendous financial risks when you were 18, 19, 20 years old. That's the advantage that they have over us. They start investing young. They start their kids investing young. You got kids that are 18 years old because their parents have been buying them stocks and bonds and treasury bills starting at their first birthday. By the time these kids graduate from high school, college is paid off and they got a down payment on their house already. Chauncey says, President Sherwin Hughes, give that man a doggone pardon. Who am I pardoning? I'll be honest. I'd pardon a lot of people. I would. I would pardon a lot of folks. Let's talk to Dr. Reeves. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Sherwin?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm doing all right.
You're not sure because I called, or are you not sure because of the way your show is going today?
Oh, because of the show. That's all it is. But it's all in a day's work. Very good to hear from you, actually.
Very good to hear from you, actually. So, Sherwin, I just want to say this about the conversation you had with the young lady regarding running for office. It reminds me of my initial conversation with you when I decided to run for state superintendent. And by no means was it negative or a barrier that you were trying to put out there, but I think it's really important for us to know that when you think about running for office, the first thing you really need to do is have a conversation like that with someone, develop a group of people that are your brain trust, to help you with the things that you don't know that you're going to need to know to get through the whole process. You're going to have a campaign, and that's more than one campaign manager. You need quite a few people that are willing to go to work and then give you work after they get off of work. Fundraising is huge. You're going to need that. So I think a lot of times when we try to tell people what they might want to consider, they take that as being negative. And I just believe if you take it as being negative or you take it as a discouragement, then maybe it's not your time. One more thing, and then I'm going to hang up. The time to read about policies and procedures and laws is not after you get in the position. Anyone that wants to run for Milwaukee School Board needs to go to NPS's website and read their policies and their procedures. Because when you win, nobody's going to teach you those things. You need to know what the board is responsible for. You need to look at the budget right now. It's available. You don't wait until you run for office and then you say, well, I'm going to make some changes. You can't change something that you don't know if you don't know how it currently exists. That's it, Sherwin.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
Call.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Yeah, Shondalyn Reeves. She ran for State Department of Public Construction Superintendent 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And so these conversations are necessary. And here's the thing. It sounds harsh because I don't know how black people became so damn soft. Like, we're the first ones to tell the world all that we've been through and how tough and how resilient we are, but we are more afraid of the truth than anybody I've ever met my entire life. When I'm talking to prospective candidates, which I have done for 20 years, whatever I tell them as far as what the campaign is going to look like and what they have to know and what they have to do and the labor they're going to have to put in, forget your family. You're not going to be able to spend time with them while you're campaigning. You got to manage people. You've got to raise money. You got to stay within the confines of the law. You've got to knock on doors relentlessly. You have to get direct mailers out. You got to get flyers printed. Your flyers are going to get printed. It's going to have a spelling error on it, but you already paid $7,000 for them. Now you got to go back to the printer, and time is running out, and your opponent is attacking you every second of every single day. So when I tell folks what they need to run for office, and as tough as that may sound, it's nothing compared to once you get elected and what the voters will say to you after that. Oh, you think that I'm being harsh? Get elected to a position and let the community perceive you're not doing anything except taking a check. You want to talk about harsh? That is a kind of a relentless torture that most human beings are not cut out for. People think it's sweet. I'm going to run for office and I'm going to fix everything. From the moment you start, your friends and your allies will fade. That's the game. And it's a tedious process. It's arduous. It's very difficult. And it's so the reason the process is as strict as it is, and why there's so many rules, and why if you mess up, you'll get yourself indicted and you'll go to jail, is because they want to make sure that people who just don't have an idea to run for office are able to throw their hat in the ring. It is strenuous, it is tough, it is tedious on purpose, because if you can't get through that part, which is the campaign, you will not be a good elected official. You won't be. That is the first test. The paperwork you got to file, the documents you have to file, the rules you have to follow, rules you've never heard of before, that if you break, you go to prison. That's, and I would rather be honest with people instead of saying, oh my God, I love that for you. Yes, run for office. And they have all these people around them telling them how wonderful they are and they've made such a great decision to run for office. They make one mistake and the DA has filed charges against you. Let's talk to Thomas. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
All right. I got a comment. I don't think you discouraged Linda at all. I think you kind of helped her. Now the lady that called in, she's calling in about something. Now, it would have been different if Linda said, okay, Sherwin, you're trying to discourage me, but she didn't. So you got a whole other lady that's calling in, God bless her, and Linda didn't say you tried to discourage her from that. You just giving her some other details and stuff. So now, Linda is a pretty strong black woman, and she's gonna now she got even more information. Decided she really want to do that. So I don't get it. A whole different person calling in saying you're trying to discourage when the person he was talking to didn't say you tried to discourage him. So I don't get that. That's my comment.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. So I think when Beverly called, Beverly heard the honesty that I gave Linda, and to Beverly, if somebody would have said that to Beverly, that would have been discouraging to Beverly. But I can tell that the Beverly doesn't always do well with a lot of honesty, just because someone allowed her to think that she can build a pyramid in the middle of the city of Milwaukee. Which let's be clear, I'd love to see it. I would be the first one there taking pictures of the pyramid, putting it on my social media. But I have a feeling I won't be taking pictures of the pyramid on my social media. Just saying. And Linda, I'm not picking on you. Linda, we love you very much. You're a vital part of this show. Hell, if Linda gets banned, then I don't know what we're going to do. We already lost Al, so Linda's a big part of the personality of the callers that we entertain on this program. But another thing that people do, you've lived a lot of life, and people have seen all sorts of things. They've gone through trials and tribulations, and they've overcome a lot of stuff. When we embark on a new endeavor, especially later on in life, we think that, oh, it's no harder than the last marriage I was in. Oh, it's not going to be any tougher than this job I had when I was 25. Oh, I can tackle this endeavor. And people try and compare running for office to other tough things that they have done in their life. And you can't do it. There is nothing like it. There is nothing like a political campaign. If you haven't managed one, worked on one, volunteered for one, or been a political candidate, there is nothing comparable. Now, there are other things, I suppose, you engage in a popularity contest and then you get selected, like community awards, I suppose. Maybe those are campaigns in a distant kind of way, but not like a political campaign. The celebration is short. Once you win, everybody's really happy. They're really proud of you, right? They're clapping for you. It's wonderful. But then if the work doesn't get done, those same people that showed up for you will never speak to you again. In fact, you will tarnish your reputation forever. And that's the other thing. People will say things about you that you are not prepared to hear, and it's permanent. It does not go away. People will lie about you. They will destroy your character because they want to tarnish your image in the eyes of the voters. You saw the stuff that was said about Kamala Harris during the most recent campaign, and most people that have a heart of gold, that want to run for office to make a difference in their community, they think that because the endeavor for them is so saintly and their intentions are so innocent, it hurts even more when people try to tear you down. And a lot of folks get discouraged. There is nothing worse, and candidates and campaign managers and volunteers that have been really invested in campaigns, y'all can relate to this. Hell, we just felt it on November 6th. There's nothing like waking up that next morning when you lost an election, because the work you got to put in. Typically with anything else, the harder you work, the better the payoff is going to be. There are campaigns where you will be nonstop, no rest, no sleep, got to take a leave of absence from your job, hope you have enough money to sustain yourself. You work nonstop, relentlessly, tirelessly, knocking on every single door you can. Not to mention, these school board races, let's be clear, you will be knocking on doors in snow. You'll be walking up steps that will have a foot of snow on them that will not be shoveled. Oh, you thought it was cold this morning. It is only December 5th. The school board primary is in February. You knocking on doors the whole month of January. It will be cold, and you can't be like, ooh, it's too cold. I'm not going to knock on doors. Guess what? Your opponent is. Not only is your opponent going to knock on doors, they're going to bring a snow shovel with them and shovel out people's walkway before they knock on the door. And some of us be like, ooh, it's too cold. I'm not going to go out there. The number of lazy candidates that I've seen over the years will astonish you. But I'm glad they lost, because they would have been equally as lazy as an elected official. I'm going to take a break, come back. Continue talking about cryptocurrencies. Pull out of the cryptocurrencies, Rick. Pull out.
Or just pull out, period.
What? I'm talking about pulling out of cryptocurrency. I don't know what you're talking about pulling out of.
Pull out.
Pulling out of a parking space, maybe? Pulling out of a bad situation, perhaps. But I don't know. Okay.
Those two.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
Breaking news, Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the death of 43-year-old Devontae L. Mitchell outside of the Hyatt Regency on Sunday as a homicide. Breaking news, a Milwaukee mother is speaking out after her 17-year-old daughter, Amira Wallace, was shot and killed at Milwaukee's Deneen Park. This happened just after midnight on July 22nd. Breaking news. According to a sheriff's office report, Sean Grayson said he shot Sonia Massey after fearing she would throw boiling water at him, which would have caused great bodily harm or death. Breaking news. Body cam video shows fatal police shooting of 4-year-old Illinois boy and man holding him hostage. Police responding to a domestic violence call shot a 4-year-old named Terrell Marshawn Miller and his mother's boyfriend. Now that I have your attention, these are families that are more than just a news story. These are families who are hurting. These are families that are searching for justice. As a community, it's our duty to get involved and make sure we do our part to make sure that these families receive the justice that they're searching for. Today, it's their families in the news. Tomorrow is yours. This is why it's important for us to make sure that we stay on the front lines and make sure that we do our part to help change what's going on in our neighborhood. Whether it's police brutality, whether it's senseless violence, whether it's human trafficking, we all can do our part and help each and every family that's affected negatively in our communities get justice.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Tori Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's a familiar tale throughout America's history, explained Mirza Baradaran, a law professor at the University of California, Irvine, and the author of multiple books on financial inequality and the racial wealth gap. She drew parallels to housing contract sales offered to black families in the wake of the New Deal in the 50s and 60s, to subprime home loans prior to the global financial crisis, disproportionately made to communities of color. In both instances, black consumers were targeted with predatory financial products existing somewhat on the margins. Most notably, she pointed to the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, more colloquially known as the Freedmen's Bank, a private savings bank established by Congress in the wake of the Civil War, meant to help formerly enslaved people establish financial stability. So I'm just giving you all examples of how black folks have been screwed over, especially financially, over the years, which has led to, created, and maintains the wealth gap that we have right now. And not knowing all the different ways in which schemes have been introduced, delivered to our community, taking advantage of our lack of financial knowledge and our desire to have money and to be rich, and they end up playing us every single time. I see this with cryptocurrency because we as black folks are already heavily invested in it. There are other wealthier demographic groups in this country that are less invested in cryptocurrency, and a double-digit percentage of African Americans say that cryptocurrency is their first investment. All this, in my opinion, is leading to a disaster. And also, with Donald Trump wanting to prioritize crypto, and with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, two individuals that none of us should trust, leading this new Department of Government Efficiency, which is also an acronym for Doge, which is Elon Musk's cryptocurrency, they are just speculating on the value of these cryptocurrencies because here's the thing about the racial wealth gap. Only a handful of people own the vast majority of all cryptocurrencies. And I got an article right here. African Americans think we're going to get rich with crypto. You know what the average amount of money a black person has in cryptocurrency? $191. That's not going to close the racial wealth gap. $191 is the average an African American has invested in cryptocurrency, yet we think we're going to be a millionaire overnight. Most notably, she pointed to the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, better known as the Freedmen's Bank, a private savings bank established by Congress in the wake of the Civil War, meant to help formerly enslaved people establish financial stability. The endeavor lasted for 9 years and ended in disaster. Its funds were mishandled, and eventually the bank collapsed. Many depositors never got their money back. Quote, "We have the perfect conditions that led to the Freedmen's Bank, that led to the subprime crisis, that led to the contract sales after the New Deal, which is that capitalism is undergoing some shift and something is wrong and the government needs to handle it, but instead they leave out certain people, and then some terrible exploitative incentive gets born, and someone is always going to step into that," Baradaran said. In the 19th century, that took the shape of a bank that squandered black people's money and sowed skepticism of the financial system that still exists today. In the 21st century, it was a pitch to build wealth through a new, largely unregulated technology that would later see the bottom substantially fall out. It's a looting of people's money, Baradaran said. To back up a bit, or rather a lot, to after the Civil War, the U.S. Congress established the Freedmen's Bank in 1865. It was meant to serve as a savings institution for formerly enslaved people and their families, and deposits were supposed to be invested in stocks, bonds, treasury notes, or other securities in the United States. Other loans weren't initially intended to be made. As Baradaran explained in her book, The Color of Money, a bank wasn't exactly the ideal solution. Giving formerly enslaved people land would have been much better. Quote, black folk at that time had not asked for a bank, they asked for land. But land grants had been foreclosed on by violence and Southern retrenchment. The bank was the stand-in for the land that we never got. The reformers promised the black community that the bank was the preferred and proper means by which they would achieve ownership of their own land. The Freedmen's Bank opened in New York in April of 1865, and over the course of a few years built up 19 branches. Eventually, the bank hit 37 branches and had tens of thousands of black depositors. People were allowed to open accounts with as little as 5 cents, and most deposits were under $60. The bank struggled financially, and in 1867, its headquarters was moved to Washington, D.C., and a new group of bankers, politicians, and businessmen took the wheel. Congress changed the bank's charter to let the people now running the show invest in real estate, railroads, and they started to make very risky bets with African Americans' money. When the financial panic hit in 1873, it took an enormous toll on the Freedmen's Bank, and the value of its investments plunged. There was a run on several branches, meaning many depositors tried to get their money out all at once, and by the time Congress sent regulators to take a look under the hood of what was going on, it was too late. In 1874, abolitionist and writer Frederick Douglass was brought in to run the Freedmen's Bank, but he quickly realized that it was, quote, the black man's cow but the white man's milk. Less than 2 months later, he described the situation as, quote, being married to a corpse, and recommended Congress shutter the bank, which it did in June of that year. The bank's assets were not backed by the federal government, a fact many customers had not realized, and many customers' deposits were gone. This is basically a replay. Cryptocurrency is a replay of the Freedmen's Bank. People think that their deposits and their investments in cryptocurrency is insured and is backed up by the government. It is not. In The Souls of Black Folk, W.E.B. Du Bois wrote that, quote, not even 10 additional years of slavery could have done so much to throttle the thrift of the freedmen as the mismanagement and bankruptcy of the series of savings banks chartered by the nation for their special aid. Did y'all hear that? 10 more years of slavery would not have done the damage to black folks that the Freedmen's Bank did. That blew my mind. The Freedmen's Bank and taking African Americans' deposits in those banks and shuttering them was more detrimental than another 10 years of slavery. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation!
And all our juicy jammers out there.
Make certain that you tap into Jam with Juice each and every day so you can quench your thirst.
That is right. You already know you can sip on us every single day, like Benjamin said, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. But that's not all, y'all.
Catch us exclusively on YouTube for our 6 to 7 show.
Yep, only on Thursdays.
Catch Jamming with Juice each and every day on 101.7 The Truth.
Now sip on that.
It's almost that time. The Black and Diverse Gala featuring the pitch finale, Thursday, December 19th, 5 to 9 p.m. at the Deco. The Wisconsin Black Chamber is about to change another life and award the first place winner of the pitch finale with $10,000. Second place, $7,000. Third place, $3,000. There will also be great food, a wine tasting of the wines made by our Black Winemaker Chicago Day Trip participants, entertainment, vendors, networking, and just an all-around great vibe. Join the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce in celebrating another great year at our Black and Diverse Gala featuring the pitch finale. Tickets go on sale November 22nd. Visit twbcc.com to purchase tickets so you don't miss out on what we have going on.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Ready to glow? RN2 Go Medical Services has you covered. With a top-notch team, including a skilled RN and medical doctor, they offer personalized treatments just for you. Feel fantastic with exceptional post-op care, invigorating IV hydration therapy, and vitamin injections. Enjoy advanced skincare, effective weight loss programs, and beauty enhancements like Botox, fillers, and PDO threads. Rejuvenate with PRP therapy and sculpt your dream body with cutting-edge body sculpting treatments. Why wait? Visit DestinationAestheticsMKE.com now to book your appointment. Your new radiant self is just a click away.
Bikerfest MKE, where everyone has a place on the road. Bikerfest MKE is a non-profit dedicated to making the motorcycle industry more inclusive and accessible for all. Their programs empower youth with hands-on experiences in STEM, mechanics, and flat track racing through mentorship and real-world skills, preparing the next generation of riders, racers, and builders, giving underrepresented youth the tools to thrive. Join Bikerfest MKE to help build a more inclusive motorcycle community. Visit BikerFestMKE.org today.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is a proud home of the Milwaukee Panthers basketball. The Panthers open up Horizon League Conference play tonight as they host the Cleveland State Vikings at the UW Panther Arena. Scott Wallace has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth, and the Milwaukee Panther Sports Network from Learfield tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. And Truth Nation, we've got big news. Mark your calendars for Friday, February 28th, as we'll be hosting our first annual Truth Community Awards, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. We will honor the excellence in our community and recognize the quiet warriors creating extraordinary impact. Tickets go on sale soon, and you do not want to miss this night of inspiration and celebration. Come celebrate with us on Friday, February 28th at the Truth Community Awards presented by Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. Carrie, I should nominate you for a Truth Community Award because you be doing so much for the community. You're the number 2 most requested advocate in the state. Woo! Yeah, so there's that. Carrie, are you invested in the cryptocurrencies? You got you some Bitcoins. What is you doing? Ain't nobody.
No.
You ain't got no Bitcoins.
Mm-mm.
Where's your money invested at? You got some stocks and bonds?
Under my mattress.
That's probably a good place for it. Okay. Just want to make sure you're not in the Ponzi scheme that is the cryptocurrencies, because for some reason it's enticing a lot of the black people. And I think it's a big setup.
You know, we always want a quick cash scheme to get some money because we don't really want to put in no real work, if you being honest.
Thank you.
Like, nobody wants to work for anything. I ain't going to take over your show. Do your thing.
All right. I was interested to hear. But no, that's true. A lot of us feel like we just deserve stuff. It's like if your life was hard, you're like, oh, I deserve to get this for free. I don't need to have to put in the effort. Maybe my perspective is different because stuff that I have to work hard for, things that seem out of my reach, and when I dedicate myself and I change my schedule and I do away with things that are distractions and I stay focused on that goal and I work hard, it might take years, it is sweeter achieving it that way than having somebody give it to me. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I don't want to win the lottery to become rich. I want to do something, create something, invent something, and be unique and get rich off of a talent than the luck of the draw and some numbers. Now, let's be clear. If I win the lottery, I know what I'm going to do, but that's not what I'm hoping for. I want to put something together, orchestrate something, assemble something, create something, and get rich that way. Why are you making that face? Well, here's the other thing. Y'all know that rich people don't play the lottery. Only poor people do.
Yeah.
Go to a casino. Go to a casino on a payday Friday. There's no wealthy people in a casino.
Oh, I used to work there.
Oh, yes. Oh, you've seen it all.
Third shift.
Woo, Woo, you've seen the best of the best.
I have seen the worst of the worst.
Yes, you have. But anything that, especially when it comes to money, anything that we believe is going to have a quick return, it's usually too much risk. Unless you, so I taught myself how to trade options. That's get rich quick. But at the same time, you will lose every penny that you invest in options trading in 3 seconds. Or it'll triple in 10 seconds. So that's...
I feel like it's a rich man's game.
It
Because you
is.
can't be afraid to lose it.
Correct.
You know?
I've played the options game quite well, actually. So the market opens at 8:30. My show starts at 9. So the market opens at 8:30. I take a look at things. I remember I invested in options of maybe AMC, the American Movie Corporation stock. By the time I walked downstairs, 3 minutes later, I lost all of it. But it was $500. You know what I mean? It's not like it was $50,000.
Told you it's a rich man's game. Ain't no way I'm over here saying something. It was just $500.
But there have been times where in the course of, say, an hour, that $500 was $2,000. And that $2,000 is a $1,500 profit, but it feels like it might as well be $15 million. Because the risk that you took, and you watched your fluctuation of your value go up and it goes down, it goes up and goes down. And if you sell at the right time, or if you automatically put into your, you can sell at a certain dollar amount. I'm not trying to get into it right now, but it just feels, it's a rush. I mean, it's gambling. That's what it is. And cryptocurrency is gambling as well. If it's something that you want to throw a little bit of money in, and if it goes up a certain dollar amount and you make 10% profit, then take your 10% profit instead of keeping your money in longer and hoping for a 50% profit and losing 100%. All right, that's enough of that. Let's see what they're saying on the text line. LT says most rich people won the lottery at birth. LT asked, did you talk about the CEO of United Healthcare killed yesterday? Nope. What that ain't got nothing to do with me. People die every day, B. Well, who was due? I didn't have United Healthcare. Like, well, I don't understand. Like, oh, it sucked. He got shot, but what is... I didn't know, dude. Y'all know I can't just talk about everybody to get killed. That's all my show would be. I saw the little footage of it. He got shot. I don't know what he did. I don't know whose wife he was sleeping with. That's not my business. So what is... So if somebody else gets shot, is it that big of a deal? Because he was a CEO of a company, had a bunch of money. We go, oh no, a white dude got shot.
You are a radio host. Everything's your business.
Rick, don't.
It is.
No, it's not.
It is.
I can't talk about everything.
But don't sit here and say it's not your business. You're you inform the community and people that listen to your show. Everything is your business.
So, all right, Rick, fair enough. How does the CEO of United Healthcare help African-American kids graduate from high school? How does it help black folks become homeowners? How does his assassination for whatever, I shouldn't even call it an assassination. He got shot! How does that help voter turnout in the city of Milwaukee? Go ahead.
It don't.
Okay, thanks.
But I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know everything's your business. Because somebody probably didn't know that the United Healthcare CEO got shot.
I think people that absorb certain kinds of media, mainstream type media, they probably read it somewhere. I have an audience that I'm talking to. That's why I think the difference between what I do and what other people do. Some people just go right to the Journal Sentinel and say, oh, what are they talking about here? That's lazy to me.
But you also know that some people don't even watch the news, let alone care to listen to the news. You are the news.
Correct. And so the CEO of United Healthcare getting shot moves none of our needles in any direction. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we gonna get shot too? No! We have more risk of getting shot without being the CEO of United Healthcare. I'm just saying, I only got 3 hours. I can't talk about everything. I don't want to talk about everything. I want to talk about things that can make a difference and make an impact. I think we covered more ground by discussing all the pitfalls to running for public office than talking about a dude that got shot in New York. Just saying. And we don't know what he did. He might have. Do y'all know that some people deserve to get shot? Is that a fair thing? No, don't. No, they do. Okay. Break into an armed single woman's house. And you know what I would say to you? Yeah, you deserve to get shot. Try to harm somebody. What you mean you just want? Okay. Well, a bullet in the ass was worth it. Because bullets hurt. That's what I've heard. Rick, you been shot before? No? All right. Well, my show is over. Jamming with Juice is up next.
Horizon League Conference play has arrived. On Thursday night, the Milwaukee Panthers